Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we're slightly stepping away from the 90s to talk 2020 hip-hop, specifically our favourite rap albums of the year so far. So coming up, we'll be ranking our top 5 records of 2020, hearing from numerous friends of the pod on their favourite albums so far, and listing our bangers of the year, and also we'll be dipping into the Crate 808 mailbag for the very first time to hear from fans of the pod. And here, joining me today to talk all things rap, we have our resident boom bap crusader, Ray Ridge is in the house. How are you doing, Ray?
I'm good. I have cracked open a beer already because it is obviously, well, I was going to say it's beer o'clock, but that could be any time, couldn't it? It's the evening. It's hot. It's 6 p.m.
Slurry Ray coming in 20 minutes, guys. Just wait up. And also we'll be welcoming back our rap nerd in Newquay. James Midwinter is back gracing us with his presence. James, how are you, mate?
Bonjour. It's nice to be on the podcast. Bo, 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 bo.
Is that... Okay, let's just finish now. There's a West Side Gun reference already. A very good impression, James. How long have you been trying that one out?
I was in Tesco's this morning, just banging the album, then just gently doing it under my breath. I've not done it out loud yet, so...
Is that the first time?
Yeah.
I think one take. Let's go. One take. There's also been another great one take verse this year, lads. I'm sure we're going to come on to that in a bit. But... how are you, James? How are you, Ray? You good, guys?
I'm good, mate. I'm doing well. It's been a busy year. A lot's happened since we last got together.
I'm sure we're going to get into it. Ray?
Wait, are we talking about a lot's happened as in like pandemics and movements, or are we talking in terms of like people moving houses and, you know, stuff like that?
Well, there's been...
Well, which is more important? Come on.
There's been obviously there's been a big global movement, and you know, we've all had to sort of change our perspectives in some certain cases and have difficult conversations, and you know, we've all had difficult conversations with people. And I mean, the important thing is that you can now talk to people that you know that have views different to yours and say, look, the new Eminem album is just not good. You shouldn't be listening to it.
So, a little sneak preview into Ray's #1 album this year. There you go.
Oh, man, it's so telling. I love that, Jambo. I could see it coming, and I loved the journey. The journey you took me on there. Perfect, mate. And talking of journeys, lads, I want to hear about your least hip-hop things. Last 24 hours, what was your journey in the last 24 hours towards your least hip-hop thing? Raymond Ridge, step on up, mate.
My least hip-hop thing, everything's back to normal in Perth. Pubs are open, everything's open. And possibly the one thing that's the most, like anti-social distancing kind of thing is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I've taken that up recently. And so I've only done... Yeah. So, yeah, he's just literally like breathing right directly in people's faces. I think the least hip hop thing is just there's the weirdness of like you're standing with like 20 people on a mat and, you know, someone's showing you like, we're going to do this move, that move, blah, blah, blah. And you're basically on top of each other and it's all very, very close quarters. And you have the moment, right, you know, 1, 2, 3 clap, and then you pair off and you just happen to pair off with whoever you stood next to. So you have these moments when you stood there and then you're paired off with like quite an attractive girl. So you have this weird moment where like, right, so I'm going to be on top of you doing this and let's just not. It's just weird fucking, I don't know what the etiquette is. It's just awkward. It's really weird. And every time, I don't know what vibe I'm giving off, but every single time, whoever's running the show is like, no, we'll switch you out. We'll switch you out with this person. And I end up getting switched. Like maybe I'm giving off this weird, awkward perv vibe all the time.
Do you know why they're doing that, Ray? They're doing
because you're creepy.
No, they're not doing it because he's creepy. They're doing it because you're a white belt and you'll probably possibly be too, you know, aggressive. They put a girl with someone who they know is gonna be not like, they don't want to put a girl who might get elbowed in the face or like kneed in the face when they're trying to demonstrate an armbar or something like that. Or maybe he's a creep, but essentially
that's more creepiness. I mean, I'm enjoying the BJJ.
My situation, I've been really worried that, am I just giving off this fucking, like weird guy vibe? Like, no, not you. Fucking
anyone but you, mate.
You fucking go over here with this sweaty guy.
When you say that's your least hip hop thing, there's loads of creeps in hip hop, mate. Like loads of creeps.
Yeah, so... but you haven't got your balls in people's faces on. It's not. Come on, like you're not been tasting other guys' sweat, like, you know. Oh, you just dribbled in my eye. Brilliant. Thank you. That's great.
Oh, great.
It is, but Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Bronson. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is actually quite hip-hop. Raka from Dilated Peoples, who you read for us earlier, or I think he's a black belt possibly. And then Action Bronson loves himself a little bit of it. So
yeah,
it's a growing trend.
I did not know that about Raka. Interesting. Yeah, Jumbo, least hip-hop thing, mate? What's yours?
Mine happened on Sunday. I was on a date, and the girl I'm seeing has listened to loads of the podcast. She loves it. She likes hip-hop. And
not heard ours.
She... What's that? Say again?
I said, but she's not heard ours.
No, that's what I'm saying. She listens to our podcast.
Oh, no, because you've told her about it, or because...
Oh, no, yeah, because I told her about it.
Okay, phew, Jesus, thought we were actually getting good then. Go on, yeah, sorry.
No, we're not that good. I'm not dating off of my celebrity on the podcast. Jesus.
Oh, one day.
But she literally said after this thing happened, she said, "This is your least hip hop thing," and I was like, "You're right, it is." We went for a paddleboard on the south coast of Cornwall. And we were paddling around, and we paddled around in like our shorts and t-shirt, and then we were like, let's put our wetsuits on because we're going to go around the corner and it's like a bit wavier and like might fall in, and I got mine out and I realized I'd accidentally packed my mum's wetsuit. And then I realized I could fit in it. No, and then I was I was on a sup in my mum's wetsuit, and I was like, and she said, "This is the least hip hop thing for you, isn't it?" And I was like,
"Yeah, it is." So true. When DJ Khaled puts on a wetsuit, it's his own.
Yeah,
he's not putting
his mum's wet. He wouldn't fit. I'm surprised I fit in. My mum's a small woman, so either I'm a manlet suddenly, or she's really, really bought a way too big wetsuit.
I think it's somewhere in the middle.
Possibly. Yeah. I'm a semi-manlet.
Oh man, that's good. I like that. Mum's wetsuit. That's going to take some beating, man. I think that wins it, to be fair. I
always win it.
Yeah, you do. You probably are the least hip hop person I know.
I am.
That's mad.
Wait till you hear his selections. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, hello. Can't wait. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Mine, very quickly, was been trying to teach my little boy to play football. He's enjoying it. He's enjoying kicking it. So trying to get him to dribble, which is actually a little bit harder than you think. Finally, nailing that. And then I started telling him about nutmegs. So, get the ball through daddy's legs, get the ball through. And he actually, no word of a lie, it's the first time I'm admitting it, no one was there except for my wife, who wasn't even looking. But he did kick it and genuinely nutmegged me and crossed my legs. Like I actually crossed my legs and fell on the sofa. And I just looked around thinking, I could just tell nobody this now. Or I could just accept that I got nutmegged by my 3-year-old son. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm coming to terms with it. He knows what he's done. He's got one up on me. The power play in the house now is crazy. He's the alpha. And well, I'm just like, he just walks around strutting around knowing I'll nutmeg you anytime I like. Mate.
He just looks at you and then just shakes his head and just walks away, doesn't he? That's it. That's it. So I was thinking about then, what rappers would be easy to nutmeg, and you can't go past Big Pun. I was like, there's just literally no way Big Pun's going to ever have the mobility to get past the nutmeg, right? So
his legs are really wide. He's got really wide legs.
Again, another reason to nutmeg Big Pun. What is this podcast? What is it? Right. So we're going to move on, lads. Let's get to it. We're going to list our top 5 albums of the year after this. So yeah, what we're going to do now, we're going to list our top 5 albums of 2020 so far. Midway point of the year. Let's go, man. First up, number 5s. I would like Raymond Ridge to bring his 5th favourite album of the year so far to the table. Ray, what have you got, mate?
Mine are in no particular order. So
for fuck's sake.
I said rank them. Like specific emails.
Rank them now. Do it now, quickly.
Yeah, you have to rank them in your head.
All right, I'll do them off the top of my head. So the one that I think is number 5, and to get it out of the way, because I know this is just fucking inevitable, isn't it? It is Music to Be Murdered by it's by Eminem.
Wow, that's your number.
Yeah, there's been. Come on, it was the what is it? It came out January 1st or something ridiculous. It was like the very first album that came out in the year. So it's had enough time that you got a bit tired of it.
Yeah, but forget about it. You've forgotten about it. Yeah,
no, but the thing is, it's still up there. Don't get me wrong. I've not been bumping it all year round, but it has tunes on it that have set a standard that it's rarely been matched.
rarely been, Matt.
Come on. Both of you are literally both of you are bringing are like 10, fucking Griselda albums, aren't you? That's literally all that's happening, isn't it? The 10 that were released in the last month.
That would only be 1% of what Griselda's put out this year. So
that's good. I enjoyed that. Well, okay, I'm not going to give too much away in my top 5, but I knew Eminem would be in yours, Ray. I'm interested to know more why it's 5. Is it just because you're not bumped? Because mine I'm bringing today are genuinely just the most bumped, probably.
Yeah, okay, but you're talking about the most bumped, but I'm also talking about, it's got Godzilla on it. It's like exhibition of speed rhyming, and there's no one that not just speed rhyming, but also just actually fucking rhyming, which is something which I know on both of your selection of albums is going to be multiple examples of just, that's all right, rhyming's not important. I'm just going to get really fucking annoyed about it.
Rhyming's very important, I would say.
Yes, it is. It's probably the most important thing. It probably is. So there's that. There's so in terms of rhyming, there's Godzilla is like show a better example of that. I will show that.
Young Ma
I will show that later on. But
Young Ma on unaccommodating is better than that. That's what I would say.
No, it's not, is it?
You should have seen Camby's face there, listeners. He was so smug as he said it.
No, it's because I just want to bait him with the Young Ma reference straight away. Because you're bringing an album with Young Ma on it. I'm not a massive fan of Young Ma, but she goes against everything you believe in, Ray. So I'm just interested to know why a top 5 album has her on it.
He liked it. When on your review, he was like, I like Young Ma.
She's good on this. I don't mind her, but it goes against everything he believes.
Yeah, he does.
So
it's because he's a MAGA hat wearing person. He's just culture. He's just culture wars. It's like he hates Young Ma, but then as soon as she's on Eminem record, yeah, she's the best.
Regular listeners will know at this stage. I just let them just say all the shit, just get it all out. This is part of the reason why I brought Music to Be Murdered by up first. They're gonna all this stuff, blah blah blah. Go on, Sorry, Jambo's still got more. Go on, carry on.
I just wanted to say this podcast is like a Griselda album, and it's the same thing every time, that everyone loves it. It's just Ray with the same points, me with the same points, Cam with the same.
And we charge $800 for a hoodie.
Yeah,
that's essentially what we're doing right now.
So to finish off Music to Be Murdered by, so far as I'm concerned, so Godzilla is a highlight, Darkness is a highlight. It's the song about a performance, which is a metaphor for the Las Vegas shooting, which it's kind of just disappeared into the background of. Yeah, of course you do. And then Never Love Again, which I know you both hate, but I fucking like it, and that's on my.
Good job. You're doing that to just troll me now. You Gone Learn is one of the best tracks on here, by the way, and Yah Yah.
No,
You've not even mentioned the two.
I'm talking about tunes that are about things, that tackle subjects, that are done in a clever way, that are concepts, and you're like, just a fucking throwaway track about nothing. I don't know.
No, You Gone Learn's got loads of stuff on there that's actually about, like, it's quite an intellectual rap if you want to call it that, but the lyrics are deep, man. You Gone Learn. And Yah Yah's got Black Thought on it. When's Black Thought ever just gone, no, it's just throwaway? It's Black fucking Thought, man. Come on, Ray.
Yeah, but
come on, mate.
Black Thought, don't get me wrong, he's top 5 MC, but he's a bit samey, isn't he? It's the same flow.
Fuck off, Ray.
It's the same flow, isn't it?
I agree with
both of you. Get them both off.
It is the same flow, isn't it? Even his most recent track, which isn't in my top 10, it's the same ridiculous flow.
I don't believe that. I think he does switch his flow up. I think he's either way. This isn't about Black Thought. I'm sure he's going to come up in a bit.
Yeah,
later.
It's about a top 5 MC who does switch up his flow across all these tracks. Eminem, number 1. Eminem. Thank you very much. That's Music to Be Murdered by Ray Ridge. Thank you very much. And we'll move on to...
Anyone out there who's actually backing Ray or thinks he's just being an absolute knob about this, please email us, crate808@gmail.com. I just want to... No, genuinely, I want to know what other people think, because it's an album that I really actually have to say I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Definitely.
That reveals something already, doesn't it? The fact that you thought you weren't going to enjoy it is just the typical Eminem approach. It's like, it's just Eminem. I'm expecting
it's just because his last one was really bad. M's in my top 5, man. He still is in my top 5. What I'm saying is, this is the same review we've done already this year.
Yeah, I didn't even get to have a comment on that review, and yet I've not said a single thing now. So
I know. I want Jambo. Come on, Jambo. Tell me what you think about this album.
I liked it less than I thought I would. It's when a new album comes out, like, I'm looking forward to it because I know there's going to be a lot of tracks on it that aren't for me, but there's usually two or three that I can put into my Eminem playlist and that are going to get me going. And like, I'm going to be excited to listen because I love listening to him. I do enjoy him as a musician, but yeah, this didn't really have any. This didn't have, and like Kamikaze had a few decent ones in there. Like Kamikaze grew on me since we reviewed it. But this one, I'll have another listen before the end of the year. But like Godzilla was, and mate, Yaya just didn't quite do it. And you know I love like Royce and like, yeah, just didn't quite get it for me. So yeah, this is one of his, this wasn't as bad as Revival, I'd say. This is better than Revival.
Well, nothing's as bad. Not a lot of it.
Nothing's as bad as Revival.
Christ. That's why I went into this apprehensive, but I like it. I like the album. I do. I still think it's like holds some weight, as in it's not in my top 5, but it's an album that, you know, when it comes on shuffle and, you know, talk about bumping, I don't switch it. I still, oh yeah, I forgot M brings that bar and stuff like that. So there are very, very good highlights on it, I would say.
What I like about this, though, is that I needn't have had to say anything because Cam's bringing Ray onto his own podcast, listening to his opinions and then saying he's a prick. And I'm almost redundant. It's my job's done here. The host of the podcast is getting really annoyed with Ray. So it's great.
Yeah, I know. This is the M like Venn diagram, innit? Once that pops up, we all start getting into the same modes. He tends to get that out of us, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, you're rocking with the best. This is the one and only Just Blaze. Right now, you're checking out the Crate 808 podcast. Remember to hit up crate808.com, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Peace.
Jambo, though, man. Number 5. What are you bringing, mate?
My number 5 is Gibbs and Alchemist, Alfredo.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay. Ray, I doubt that's in your 5, is it?
Yeah, no, it is. Well, any album that doesn't have any drum beats on it is excluded because hip hop is beats and rhymes. That's no fucking beats. It's barely even fucking rhymes. Fucking Freddie Gibbs. Next.
May, that's outrageous. Freddie's snapping on this, man. No, I'm not having that. I have Alfredo
cool.
as
Give
me
me his most memorable lines from that right now.
Oh, well, this is what we always do. We're doing the Griselda podcast. Stop.
I really like Pocket Full of Slave Masters. When he brought that line, I was like, holy shit, hold on, what? I don't remember lyrics like I used to when I was a kid. You know, even with M, I can't tell you an M bar that sticks out to me until I go back and revisit, because I genuinely think now I listen to so much more. And my mind just doesn't hold bars as well as it used to. Even my favourite, like, you know, people, when they come out, I think, oh, that's such a good line. And then about 3 months later, I've just forgotten it. So I don't know if it's one of them things where it's just me getting old, but I think reciting bars from an album you love, yeah, I'm not very good
also,
at that.
Cam, well, I'll probably go into it, but like the way that hip hop's moving at the moment, I find it quite interesting, but like lyrics and the tracks and stuff like that, the way people are producing music and making music, the artists, me and you, like probably not Ray, they've basically taken the feel and the genre of hip hop and done away with things like choruses and like obviously like trap is a lot about melody and deep bass, and then I feel like a lot of hip hop now is like a reaction to that. So they've taken away those deep bass drums, they've taken away that melody, they've taken away choruses and stuff like that, and they're playing. It's almost like I'm trying to do a thing at the moment where I'm trying to link hip hop periods with artistic periods. And I feel like at the moment we're in like an impressionistic period where previously we had like a realism where it was about like lyrics that were about daily life that were very clear and real. And now people are being a little bit more poetic with their lyrics and like their beats and stuff like that. It's all a bit smushed. And that's what's interesting about it, as opposed to here's 16 bars, then a chorus, beat, that kind of thing. And like I know Ray hates that, but I feel like that a lot of the artists that I'm going to talk about, and I imagine you will, have done that. It's
what you've said there is really interesting, because I think hip hop's brilliant. To be fair, literally just a few hours before we recorded this, I had to call Ray, and all I said was, hip hop's fucking brilliant, isn't it? Oh, see you later, mate. That's it. Because when you're listening, you get everything. You now I can find the structured, well-structured song structure I've loved in the 90s, and it's done well. I can still find that in places now. And then I can find what you've very well put there, impressionistic hip hop. It comes down to the school of Alchemist and Madlib, really. A lot of it boils down to that for me in my taste now. So like Alfredo's number 3 in mine. I was actually going to put it in number 2, but like if you, it's just kind of rewindability. And I was like, the rewindability of this is amazing, especially because it's just short, sweet album. For me, there's not much filler. It's all very seamless.
I don't know about that. I found the first 3 or 4 tracks, I was just like, oh no, like this is like really average, not my thing. And then it just gets stronger and stronger as the album goes on.
After the first 3 or 4 tracks, you literally just say that. After the first 3 or 4 tracks, it starts to get good. All right, after half the fucking album.
To be fair, it is only like about 10 tracks long, so it is about half the album.
That's the sound of Jambo's dog agreeing with me, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, my dog's going mental in the background. Up until, I think, the first 3 tracks are fine. They're just not the quality I was thinking. Then Look at Me, Frank Lucas, Something to Rap About comes on. Skinny Shug's great. Babies and Full. It just gets stronger and stronger, which is really weird to have these quite average tracks as the first 3.
But this is the beauty of someone like Alchemist. So when you said something about Something to Rap About, that's a perfect example of my experience with someone like Alchemist production. With Alchemist, I already know when I put an Alchemist beat on, it's going to pass.
You can't call it a beat.
Pass me by.
Can't call it a beat.
He's one of my favourite producers, and I think a lot of people's favourite producers, but he is one of mine. When I bump his music...
Also, don't care what other people think.
Okay, fair. I'll get this point out in a minute. But if you're looking at that experience of something that takes me a minute to get into, I actually relish that now when something passes me by a little bit. It's interesting you say that about the first few tracks on this. I think they're probably the best tracks on the album, or the 1985. That sample, man, oh my God, the guitar on that, when I heard that the first time, I need to find it, and I still can't find the sample on that, and I just now think it's probably original.
The sample heads are going to be furious that you couldn't find that sample.
Even if the sample corner heads out there can come out here and let us know what that sample is, I'd love to know. But I think it may just be original. I think he may have just played that. But God, it's perfect. Scotty Beam. For me, it's luxury rap. This is like different pace. You can imagine being on your yacht, listening to this. And obviously we have
relatable.
Relatable for everyone.
Relatable reference there. The yacht, being on your yacht. All the listeners will get that.
All you guys out there being on your yacht, close your eyes and imagine you're on a yacht and listen to this. That's what I'm saying. But there's obviously the gangster vibes on. It's such a gangster album. It's interesting how gangster rap's gone now. Because it now is epitomized in something like this, which is like, it has that 90s kind of mentality, but just sampling alone in this is so creative. And that 90s element of sampling on this, fucking hell. The sampling, Alchemist, one of the best produced albums is this album. Ray, what are you saying about Alfredo, mate?
Overrated. I just
okay.
no. I just,
do you not like any of it?
No, none of it. I've got a little section. I don't want to step on what could be probably is your fucking next choices of albums. But I've got a little section called "What the fuck is going on?" albums, and there's 3 of them. And Alfredo's on that list, and then there's 2 others if you want to hear or not.
No. I want that list to be revealed as we go, because I'm sure it will be.
Yeah.
Mate, when you're talking about bars, do you not think that Freddie's bars are I know you're saying memorable bar.
No,
here's another memorable bar. The Cocaine Circus with Jordan. Last Dance, watching that, and the fact that he travelled with a cocaine circus, and then Freddie just slides that reference in. I was like, fuck, man, sick. I'm in for that. And then sampling Gil Scott Heron, fucking amazing, mate. All that stuff, it's up my street, Ray. What's your take? Do you think this is where hip hop's going to go and you're upset with it? Or do you think
hip hop's not going to go there, because I know I've got the next albums to reveal, which is going to show that the world has been saved by much better producers and much better rappers. It's fine. These be, and thing is, there's space for everyone. I don't want to be that dismissive of it, but I listened to a Freddie Gibbs album and I skipped through it and I'm like, nah. Oh shit, is that it? All right, I'm done. That's it. I'm just over it. There's nothing grips me.
At least it's short.
But there are albums that have been released that do, suck you in and make you feel like happy and positive about hip hop and fucking life and the world. And fucking Freddie Gibbs is not one of them. Next.
See, that's interesting when you say that, because for me, this is that, I don't know if this is the right word for it. I suppose for me, it's escapist energy. There's a lot of escapist energy in what Alchemist and what that kind of clique has done. coming forward, because this is that kind of stuff where you can imagine, like I said, you could be on your yacht, but you could also be like just drinking rum punch on a beach somewhere. Another relevant thing for everyone there. Everyone's probably not doing right now. But it's that 2020 energy I need. I need to be able to daydream. And this takes me on a real good fucking daydream.
You sound like your daydreams are just American Psycho. Rum punch on a beach on your yacht. They like Bret Easton Ellis chapter titles. To be fair, there's a chapter of American Psycho called Taking an Uzi to the Gym.
Oh yes, yeah, what a chapter.
I feel like that would be something that, like, that's a title for a Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist track as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely,
I can't wait to hear it. Next. Anyway.
This is the type of deep insight. We like. Next.
Look, we spoke about Eminem for 2 minutes. We spoke about Freddie Gibbs for 25 minutes. Fucking hell. This is good.
Yeah, no, I know. But it's only because it's both of our albums, so we may as well talk about it now, because I'm not going to talk about it when it comes to my number 3. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So you might as well dive in when it comes up. Just for instance, when you're talking about that kind of feel of Alchemist, mate, I'm interested to know why you don't. The atmosphere just isn't resonating in your life. It feels like you need more upbeat stuff. This isn't very upbeat, but it is kind of like, there's a track on here, I think it may be Scotty Beam, I can't remember which one it is, but it starts off and it feels like a Michael Mann film. It feels like you're in Heat, and that's not upbeat. Like, that's not it's just a mood you wallow in, but that's what I love about it.
Does it make you feel like you're on Heat as well?
Some of the bars do, mate. Some of the bloody bars do. But yeah, again, Tyler on here. I really enjoyed the fact that he's got a few different people coming on here. I didn't expect Tyler to bring that one take verse. That we talked about there being a great one take. I thought Tyler's verse was great on this, on Something to Rap. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. As we're talking about Alfredo, I would love to pitch it out for you guys. I know Ray's not going to even want to join in this conversation, but Jambo, you may as well talk then, mate. Who does Freddie Gibbs link with next, and who does Alchemist link with next? Who do you want to hear them two guys work with next?
I want to hear Alchemist work with a what are they called? Drum machine? Yeah,
Drum machine.
There you go. Yeah, fucking hell.
I'm less interested in Alchemist. Alchemist is someone I've always appreciated. He's been around for so long. I appreciate his production. It just doesn't quite get me quite as much. But like Freddie, and then Freddie's the same. Like, I quite liked, there's always tracks on his albums I liked. I quite liked when he did a bit of a trap type vibe. Basically, I just want him to work with Madlib. I really appreciate it when he does that. I'm not sure if there's any other producers right now that I'd be like desperate to hear him over. How about you?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I had, for Alchemist, one of the albums that may come up later, it's not in my top 5, but when Jigga was rhyming over Alchemist on A Written Testimony, I was like, yeah, fuck, man. Imagine Jay-Z and Alchemist just doing like a project together. That I would fucking love that.
Yeah,
I really appreciate where Jay-Z's going at the moment in his career. I'm really intrigued to see what he does next.
I really liked his album this year. I did like the album he came out with. Oh, it was with another bloke, wasn't it? Who was that? Who was the other bloke on it?
Other Jay guy, wasn't there? I don't know. Not heard from him for a while, but and Freddie, I was like, it just as a
someone forgot the drum machine on that one as well, or drum kit, or drummer, or just I don't know. It's becoming like a fad. Like, oh, I know, I'll just not put drums on it.
I think
it's almost like music is like developing and people are trying new things. Oh, I'd hate that.
It's not though, is it? It's not though, is it?
If we tried
it's regressing.
New
They're removing one entire track of the instrumentation. It's like making it less challenging. It's the bigger challenge. Imagine how great those are, and then imagine when a beat drops on top of it. Imagine Nas's Like without the fucking beat dropping on it. Imagine all your favorite tunes. Well, why don't you all set up a different genre without drums and go and fucking sit over there, and we'll talk about 90s hip hop over here.
Right, but like, can I just say, like, imagine if like painters had just kept doing realism over and over again, and no one had ever done anything abstract or ever used a different color or
not valid. No, but so the appropriate use of that metaphor would be like painters from then on never using blue. Never using blue ever again. That's it.
But it's a lazy thing because Alchemist does use drums. Not on everything that we're listing right now, but on other things we may talk about later, there are definite drums. So it's a lazy reference to say that he never, ever uses drums.
Yeah, but he hasn't on the album that we're talking about here.
There's a moment happening right now where it's quite lacking of drums, for sure. But now you're saying that nobody uses drums. Of course people
use drums. I'm not saying nobody uses drums. I'm saying...
No, but you just said now it's like, oh, we'll never use blue again. It's like, well, no, they still use blue when they want to.
This is a book that I've got. Not that anyone can see it, but it's by Yves Klein. He was someone who just liked blue. All he liked was blue things. He liked blue. That's what he liked, blue. And that moved art along. That's how it works. Not everyone didn't just go, oh, we're all just going to use blue now. He just happened to do that.
No, but this is exactly my point, isn't it? Is that artist can do that, and he or she would by no means expect everyone in the world to love it, would they? They just do their thing, have their niche, people like it or don't. I don't like these beats. Done. Well, that's 33% of this podcast. That's what I'm saying. That's it. And that might be just me representing me. It might be representing a very small percentage of the population. But when I hear these beats and I hear those samples and everything you said about them is like, yeah, they are great. And I'm waiting for the beat to drop. And then the track finishes and the beat didn't drop. And I'm only feeling disappointment. I'm not feeling like, oh, that was a great use of, I feel disappointed.
Well, okay, let's move it on. I had Freddie Gibbs. I would just on a personal level, him and Black Milk could be quite interesting. I would like to see what that sounds like because Black Milk's kind of experimenting at the moment as well.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is DJ Premier, and you're checking out the Crates 808 podcast. I put an S on it because there's more than one record in the crate, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we dig, that's how we play, and that's what real DJs do. You heard? That's why it goes down. We out here.
So if we're going to number 5, my number 5, I'm sure this is going to be enjoyed for Ray. Pray for Paris, man. Pray for Paris. So, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, West Side Gun coming out, bringing out basically an art record, from the fucking great cover. Is it Virgil Abloh? Virgil Abloh who did that cover, I think.
Yeah, it is. Which is, I don't know, Virgil Abloh and hip hop album covers has not been a great thing recently. It's put some fucking awful shit out.
Oh, mate. The whole meme about Virgil designing this cover is fucking fantastic, though. Like, that meme is superb. You could never...
I don't think I'm going to miss anything, but I'm just going to grab another beer. I feel like I'm going to need it. Hang on.
Ray stepped out for this love. Do you know what? Just on Ray's point, though. Just on Ray's point, what he just said, right? Ray just said there that just because everyone else loves it or whatever... Do you know what the beauty of this is? I'm bringing up Pray for Paris, but you can also put it to Freddie Gibbs and Alfredo, is they're not getting everyone to listen to it. What they're doing is getting, I don't know, for every million streams there are, they're not streaming millions, they're streaming 100,000, but every one of them 100,000 is a massive fan, as in they will go out there, they'll spend $80 on a mixtape. Fucking hell, I've spent so much on Griselda merch this year on one of them. It's like, okay, I've got like 4 amazing like jumpers in the closet I can only wear around the house because it's lockdown. It's like, okay, I've got them, but what am I going to do next? So I think that's what they are aiming for, which is they're not trying to convert Ray. They're trying to get the people who want to listen to it, really get into all their 100 projects they drop a year. And I think that's essentially the same with Pray for Paris.
Yeah, this is my number 3 record.
Okay.
This is like the first full project where I've been on board, where I've been like, okay, I like all of this. And like, I've finally got round that my ear is like attuned to West Side Gun and got past. Obviously, like he's a bit of a Marmite rapper, but I've now got into it and the production all through is so good.
It's incredible.
I love all the beats. I love them.
There's actual drums on this album, Ray. There you go.
Still skipped it. Don't worry about it.
I'd say he's going to wear my patience down a little bit eventually. I think he thinks that this album is more of an artistic statement than it actually is. It's essentially, I'd say he kind of wants to be what Ka is in a way, but he's taken a lot of like the visuals like of Ka in certain ways and the obviously lack of drums and things like that. But then he's basically, I think hip hop at the moment is going through a previous phase that we've been through, which was the 2000s, where I think trap you can basically swap out for the Neptunes. I feel like that's this everything in the early 2000s was Neptune's beats, and then there was the other side to the antithesis to that was like Def Jux and people like Deltron and stuff like that. And he's basically gone and said, right, Ghostface Killer. I'm basically going to do Ghostface Killer and basically slap a load of Virgil Abloh stuff on top of it and art references and things like that. And it worked for me. It works. I like the idea of having bulletproof cars outside the Whitney waiting for me. That as an artist, I like that. That gets me. And then even the fact that he has an album called Supreme Blientele, and then the Sadhu interlude on this. That's the same sample as Holler. Do you remember holla, holla, holla if you let me?
Sadhu interludes on his new album, mate.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay, well, either way, he's basically loving Ghostface. It's a tribute to Ghostface.
It's an interesting take. There was a podcast I listened to, Call Out Culture, which is a great pod. Big up you boys. They did a Griselda special. And just because you referenced him as Ghost, it made me think of what they were saying when Griselda first came out. It was like, oh, West Side Gun is clearly the star of the show right now. He's like meth. Benny is coming out like he has that kind of ghost element to him. And then you have someone like Conway who is a bit more like Raekwon. It's just interesting how we all kind of align that Wu energy to Griselda, because I suppose Wu were the first group that really came out with that hardcore sound. And there are some absolute moments on this album though, mate. I love this album. I can't stop playing it. Sean versus Flair,
yes.
When Primo's on that is probably one of my favourite Primo beats of the last few years. I love that beat. That beat is amazing.
Yeah.
And even all he's saying, have you ever ate chicken on a Thursday? That's all he's saying. He's not saying it, but it's catchy and it's making me think of Primo. This is fucking amazing, dusty shit. And obviously, then we look at the other signs on here. My proper moments of, fuck, I love this song, was I was walking on my daily old man walk and I saw a kestrel hovering for its prey, right? And I was like, oh God, that's fascinating watching that kestrel. And the beat to 500 Ounces was on. And I was like, this is the most perfect beat to listen whilst I watch this kestrel. Just try it. Anyone out there, try it, honestly. It's like, oh, amazing.
Music to watch kestrels too.
Least hip-hop things. But and then there's one moment on it again. There's a lot on here that I rewound when I first heard it. But when he's fucking sampling tap dancing, like, is it Lejobla or Lejiba?
Yeah,
I can't remember how you that track.
Or something.
Yeah, I can't. It's named after a restaurant or some shit in it. But like that fucking hell, they actually got a guy in to tap dance in the booth on it. Like, this is his record where he's like, fuck it, I'm wilding out, mate. I'm wilding out. Eurostep, another one where just the talk he's talking, yes, it's coke, it's fashion, it's high end. Like, I've never heard of some of these brands he's talking about. I'll be honest, it's not my cup of tea. But then you've got that, and then he's got his production, which is, he's got Primo on here, Muggs on here, Alchemist, Tyler. And again, you're like, oh, he's kind of trying to do an ensemble piece, and he's experimenting, like pitching his voice differently. It doesn't always work, to be fair. There's some tracks where it's a bit weaker, but like, there's bars on here as well. Like when Conway brings his bars on, fuck me, I've forgotten what the bar is. Something about hard rappers, we the last of the hard rappers, and you'll find a garbage full of soft rappers or something. I can't remember. Either way, I love that shit. And again, it's Griselda in it, and I know Ray doesn't like it, but I enjoy the fact that they never sell out. They never move for anyone. Everyone's going to them right now. And it's like, yeah, fucking cool, man. Like, I'm not having to do shit. M's coming to me. J's coming to me. Like, they're helping us because they like what we're doing, and they're gravitating towards them with that energy, man. Before we do move on, I would love to have any correspondence on these and what you guys think. crate808@gmail.com. Please hit us up. Who should Freddie Gibbs work with next? Who should Alchemist work with next? Send them in. We'll read them out on the pod. Bing, bang, bosh. Yo, just a quick break in the proceedings to just check in with some of our friends of the podcast to see what their albums of 2020 have been. And first up, man, going to go to our boys from the Notorious P.O.D. This is Cal and Thelonious Filth, just filling us in on their choices of 2020 so far. So let's go.
Top 5 albums of 2020 so far. No particular order. Industry Games by Chica was one that really stood out to me. More of an EP, but I'm adding it. Standout track on that was Songs About You. It's a really, really good song. She did a Tiny Desk concert, which was where I became aware of her. A bit of a no-name vibe about her as well. Milestones by Sky Zoo. A strong Father's Day theme with this album. It was released on Father's Day. Boldy James and Alchemist, Price of Tea in China. Yeah, another really good project featuring the Alchemist. He can get a good album out of pretty much anybody. And then the two big hitters for me were Written Testimony by Jay Electronica, in brackets with Jay-Z. A lot of people were disappointed with it, but I wasn't. You know, after 11 years, it was always going to be hard for him to meet expectations, but I thought it was a great project, and it was just good to hear Jay Electronica rap. And then the album of the year for me so far, quite comfortably, and I think it will be top at the end of the year, is Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs. I called it a movie on Notorious P.O.D., but it's more of a HBO miniseries. Great project, flows really well together. Just a great job by Gibbs and Alchemist. Gibbs is on a hell of a run. Best rapper alive.
Yeah, what's up? It's your boy T from the Notorious P.O.D. and this is my top 5 albums for 2020 so far. At number 5, you got Pray for Paris, West Side Gun. Number 4, All My Heroes Are Dead by R.A. the Rugged Man. At number 3, Rise of T in China, Boldy James and Alchemist. Number 2, Innocent Country 2, Kelly Chris and Chris Keys. And at number 1, by a mile, is Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist.
All right then, Jumbo man. Number 4, what you got for, mate?
On number 4, I have Car, Descendants of Cain.
Snapperoo, mate. My number 4 as well.
Yeah,
there you go, Descendants of Cain.
Car's just like you were saying earlier, just deadly consistent, never going to sell out. The lyrics, it's almost like spoken word, and they're as we've probably guessed. I'm not I love lyrics, but I'm not someone. My brain doesn't like when I first hear a beat. I'm more about the vibe of a beat and like of a track. His words come out to me later. They pop out as I'm listening to it. As like after a week or so, certain things will pop out. And like I love that about it. You can just sit there and like vibe out to what he's putting down, but you don't necessarily have to listen to the lyrics to enjoy it. And then later the lyrics will come out and you'll be like, I love that turn of phrase. I love what he's like trying to put across. The beats are always great, and he doesn't try and sell out. I love all that. And also like he's really interested in classic art and the classics, basically.
All the classics.
All the
literature,
classics. Yeah, literature, classical literature. He loves, like, he's got albums that are sort of based around, like, ancient Japanese culture and stuff. He's interesting. And he's a fireman. I find that really interesting.
So, yeah, Andy's a fireman.
Which is another reason why Ray should like him. He works in,
public service.
Yeah, but I'm looking to quit the fucking shit public service, aren't I? So there we go.
Did you have Car on your list, Ray?
No, I didn't.
Was it?
No, I didn't.
Did you get to listen to Descendants of Cain?
Actually, no, I haven't. No, I haven't checked it.
Okay,
I haven't checked it. So.
I'd be interested to see what you think. I do think it's interesting how Jumbo, you've put it there with the beats first. I think when it comes to Car, those beats are like, it's always full of, it's such a good concept, isn't it? He's one of the best artists at doing concepts. When he did the samurai thing, and then he did obviously the Orpheus thing, and now he's doing Cain and Abel. Even from the artwork, which is fucking dope. There's been so much good artwork this year. We're going to have to bring out who we think is the best artwork later for sure. But Descendants of Cain, when I heard this, it was the lyrics grabbed me quicker than his other projects, which is interesting because that doesn't usually happen for me. Every now and then, who else is rapping like this, man? Loved things I should have lusted. I rushed, snubbed things I should have trusted. My comments ain't for quick alignment, it's for full adjustment. And I was just like, hold on, what? Like, what is that? And it's very hard to decipher. But as Mike from Dead End Hip Hop always puts it, you may as well just read the lyrics because you're going to get more from it. Use today's technology, go to the Car lyrics pages, wherever you find your lyrics. And then you realize, oh, he's working with fucking 2-3 different levels to just 2 lines, which you're never going to get. No one's that clever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're never going to get some of these. And I am biased. It's, me and you love him. He's amazing, but I fucking love this album. The pain on this album. Jesus, man.
Yeah, from a vibe perspective, if I had to describe the vibe of listening to generally a Car album, but particularly this one, it's like in a movie when the hero goes and visits the old man who's going to teach him skills and stuff like that, and then he learns it, and you love the old man. He's such a kind, wise man, and then the hero leaves the wise man as the enemy are coming, and then they kill the old man, and it's really sad because all that knowledge is gone. That's like listening to a Car album. He's the old man who gets killed by the enemy, and it's a tragedy.
His music is an experience, as in I can see exactly why people don't like him or don't really fuck with his stuff, because it's like certain authors, it's horror. Sorry to compare Car's music to novels. Everyone fucking does that. but it is heavy on atmosphere. It's heavy on mood. You can swim in that shit, that anxiety, the pain, the diamond-tipped clarity in what he says sometimes, them couplets, man, they're just, they're dense. And I love that type of music. I work a little bit harder for. So yeah, and let's not sleep on the fact that beat switches, I am going to bring up beat switches later on some of the albums I've got, but Solitude of Enoch, mate, there's an amazing beat switch on that. And the depth of his lyrics, fucking everything, they just have impact. I've got so many lyrics I want to go into. If people out there, if you want us to do proper reviews of these albums, just let us know, man. Let us know, because we will do them for the content. We just don't know if it's time to bother going knee deep into, like, neck deep into some of these lyrics.
Well, it might be the end of the year, mightn't it? These might make our end of the year top 5, so we don't want to go too deep right now. Plus, I'm way too stupid to go this deep into Descendants of Cain this early in the year. It's going to take me a while to break this down.
Number 4 for you, my friend, Raymond Ridge. What have you got?
So if we're talking about top 5s, this one's jumped up and down the list, let's say. But I feel like, will both of you have it? I think you might have. I think Cam might have it. Maybe Jambo won't have it. But it can't not really be mentioned. And there's another reason why it's probably quite a big tune right now. It's got one big tune on it right now. So ADHD, Joyner Lucas.
Joyner Lucas's ADHD. Interesting, man. That's an album I heard a while back, but I think it came out like this year, didn't it?
See, my exposure to everything is purely Spotify. So if Spotify says 2020, and yeah, we got to talk about Will, haven't we?
Oh, God. I thought we sidestepped Academics and Freddie Gibbs, and now we've got to talk about Will. The memes are everywhere, man.
They are, aren't they?
Go on, then.
But I mean, this tune as well, like, you hear this tune, this has got to be, this is this year, because Will Smith was posting about it this year and thanking Joyner Lucas about the tune this year. What are you talking about fucking before 2020? It's ridiculous.
It has. Stuff has dropped from it before. Okay, go on. Tell me about Will Smith. What have you got about Will Smith? I mean, fuck, man, this is a fucking mess, but go on. Let's go.
Well, let me start from a point of, we all love Will Smith, right? Come on.
I mean, I do. He's fucking a champion, isn't he?
He has an open relationship with Jada Pinkett Smith. That's what he's famous for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's famous for that. I mean, I love Will Smith. I do. I think their relationship is what it is. There's a lot to be dug into where the way Jada has, I mean, Jesus Christ, young lad who's not very well, should you be doing what she's done? That is for other people to decide. But Will,
the way you're phrasing that makes it sound like you've decided already, and you just don't want to say.
I find it very peculiar. I'd need to dig into the subject more. But yeah, no, Will's bringing bars. Will's bringing bars this year. I never thought we'd be talking about Will Smith in a mid-year album review, but I'm glad we are, Ray. What are you saying to him?
So what I say, I mean, it is what I said before as well, is that, and part of what, I don't know, is it well known? Can we call it well known? I don't think no one gives a shit about Ray's opinion, do they? But let me just say now, Ray loves boom bap beats. Ray loves sampled, primo beats with actual drums on them, as we've fucking talked about 100 times.
We all do.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's why ADHD by Joyner Lucas doesn't have those beats. It's all synth beats, and I think this, and I've said before that there's something about, like, real live instruments recorded, then sampled, then made into a hip-hop beat. There's something about that. There's multiple people that are involved in that, as in there was a drummer that was played that part, and then there was a guitarist, a bassist that played the next part, and there's different human beings involved in it.
Glockenspiel.
Whatever. And then it's been sampled by a producer and then made into something that better than it was. All of its constituent parts is better, better together. So that's why I feel like
Alchemist does on 1985. Yeah, Alchemist does on 1985. You're right, yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, good. So that's what I'm saying about, that's why I feel like there's something to be lost in modern music where it's just all synthesized and it's one person's input. And, maybe some people do it beautifully and it really lends itself to some drum and bass, dance music, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, then, slap me in the face with ADHD, and the beats on here are all, they're all pretty much synthesized beats, and they're pretty sick as well. And Joyner Lucas brings it as well. And It is an album that I've gone back to as well. Not just the wheel track as well. I mean, obviously brought that up because of what's happened recently, entanglements and whatnot. But the ISIS track with Logic, and then Lotto as well. The dark strings on that track, Lotto, is just so sick. And then and Broken Stupid is the last track on that album, which actually is a sample, which actually is. He's got some sick rhymes in that as well. You can't throw me off the block. This is not Tetris. Yeah, it's just it's good. It surprised me because I wasn't expecting to like it.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think Joyner is at the moment in his career? Like, do you think he's got a classic in him? Do you reckon he's got a classic in him?
Yeah,
with his beats, with his bars. Sorry,
100%. Yeah. But I think it's still to come.
I've not heard enough from him that's made me go fuck. Like, I think he's solid. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I think there's his mixtapes that he's brought out have really. Yeah, I've championed. I've recommended to other people for sure. I reckon 90s heads like really probably get into him because he has that sense, that mentality. Even the people he surrounds himself with, are those 90s heads. I can't remember if he's done a track with Timbaland as well. I think he might have done a track with Timbaland and people like that. Like, he's trying it. He's trying different things, which is good.
But it's positive. The thing is as well, it's positive. He also does concept tracks as well, and he sticks to the brief and actually executes on it. Like, yeah, no, I'm on board. I'm on board.
What are you saying, Jumbo, to join Lucas or this album?
I've not actually. I've heard some of like his tracks, but I've not really been taken by him. He's in Eminem's top 10, so that's a downer. That's a joke. That's a joke. No, I've not really heard it, but I'm intrigued the fact that he's made Ray like synthesized beats better than classically made hip hop beats that just don't have drums. That's really interesting. You'd prefer to hear
what you mean? Beat. You mean as opposed to incomplete beats? Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I don't like
incomplete.
I don't like incomplete beats.
When you go around the Tate Modern, do you just get angry? Are you one of those people who just gets furious?
Mate, I live in Perth, so I go to the beach and enjoy the sun.
There he is. Yeah, right. There he is. Don't have time for museums, mate, when you've got the bloody sun. Do you know what I mean? Nature is the best museum, some would say.
You know that you're touchy about where you live when someone just asks you about an art gallery and you're like, I have the sun! Straight away. You know that you're touchy about how cultureless your country
that's fantastic. Is. Absolutely fantastic. As we're continuing down the top 5, I mean, my third is Alfredo. We've already talked about that. Jambo's third is what was your third again?
My third was Pray for Paris. Yeah,
Pray for Paris. Raymond, but you again, my friend. You've already brought Joyner Lucas. Who's number 3 in Raymond Ridge's list?
Okay, number 3 is shit. See, I'm making up the order as I go along because like I said, they're all equal. They're all equal in my eyes. But
or you didn't do the research. You didn't get the email. You didn't stick to the brief. Unlike Joyner Lucas. Go on.
I've only been checking it for the last couple of weeks, but Rude Boy by CJ Fly. It's spelled Rude BWOY. So when I say Rude Boy, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm pronouncing it how it's fucking spelled.
Oh, this sounds like it could be quite good.
It is ridiculous, and it's fair enough. It's kind of might have slipped under the radar, but it's the tunes. You cannot deny the Farsideness of the tunes. It's just.
I'm liking the sound of this.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so Farside-esque, and I think most of it's like a live band, really funky beats. Upbeat. So there's a track on there called Rude Boy with Joey Badass.
Nice.
And there's one called The Pros, and it's so I don't know anything about him. All I know is the album came out in 2020. I've been listening to it and it's fucking sick. There's a track called The Pros on there, which is my notes next to it is the funkiest beat released this year. Game over. So take that.
Shit.
Yeah, there's so many tracks. Shit. There's so many tracks that are so. I don't want to take away from what he's doing. Obviously, it's different to Farside, but there's something. It just really reminded me of that kind of funky, having a laugh, live band kind of I don't know, Farsideness about it. It's good.
It's Farsideness. I'm enjoying that. I'm going to find out more about this guy. I don't know. CJ Fly, right?
Yeah, CJ Fly. Rude Boy.
Okay, peeps
Rude Boy
out there. If you're enjoying this take by Ray, then yeah, please let us know, man, because I'm already. I'm intrigued, Ray. I'm intrigued. So I'm sure this will bring up in another part.
I will warn you and the listeners. He's one of those that capitalizes all his track names. So that's a downer. That's a bit of a downer. That's a very modern thing. Maybe I'm being an old man about it. But
do you know what? When I had an iTunes library, remember those when you have actual MP3s? that used to wind me up so much. I used to decap everything like a right dickhead. I was out there for ages doing that. Bloody hell. The amount of punk bands that do that, by the way, fucking behave yourselves, punk bands. Jesus Christ. Not everything has to be shouted. Do you know what I mean? Just
it's not necessary. It's not necessary, is
time.
it? Just a little side note, just to tie you in a little bit more. Conway the Machine is on it.
Well, I'm in then, mate.
Yeah,
So,
and Joey Badass, which is a green flag for me. When I see him on a project, I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be quite good.
Good use of the reference green flag as well. I've not heard that for
The dating references, red flags and green flags.
Love it. Right, man. So we're going to continue our top 5 in a minute after this, and we're going to bring you some of our mailbag correspondence. Yo. So next up, man, we're going to talk to some more friends of the podcast. Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. Check us out, crate808.com. Email us, crate808@gmail.com. Just hit us up, tell us how you're feeling. And also, whilst you're doing that, hit these guys up as well, the Dad Bod Rap Pod. I know I bang on about them a lot, but these guys keep delivering. They've had some stellar interviews. They've always got some really insightful takes on underground rap, on commercial rap, on rap generally. But yes, check out their albums of 2020 so far, coming up now.
All right, Crate 808 listeners, we want to introduce ourselves. We are the Dad Bod Rap Pod. I am Damone Carter, aka Dim1. I am joined here by David Ma and Nate LeBlanc, and we are going to run down our top 3 records of the year thus far. We'll start with Mr. David Ma.
Yo, guys. For my record, I'm going to go with the incredible Boldy James and Alchemist Price of Tea in China record. And any list would be remiss to omit this insanely enjoyable album. It has the perfect amount of calmness to it. It has a delicate feel. The beats are gossamer thin and sort of on the verge of collapse around Boldy's intimate lyrics. It's great to see his career blossom a little bit later when the timing is right rather than when the moment permits. It's visually detailed, personally stunning content that really gives the album a sense of humanity, I felt. It's not all drug raps. He's talking about the coldness of his neighborhood and his grandma. The delivery is quiet, almost out of boss sometimes, which makes it feel more genuine. There's a magic on the album between the two that wasn't captured in their previous efforts, I feel. Let us also not forget that Alchemist this year went on after this album to release Lulu with Conway as well as Alfredo with Freddie Gibbs. Price of Tea in China gave Boldy's career a shot in the arm while cementing Alk's all-time status. But most importantly, it does what truthful, striking albums do. Completely disarms the listener. Nate, your pick?
Okay, you didn't tell us we were writing speeches.
Thank you, Edgar Allan Dave.
I thought we were busting.
My pick is Shrines by Arm & Hammer. Arm & Hammer is the duo of Billy Woods and Elucid. This is their 4th full-length collaboration, and in many ways, perhaps their best. The two of them have an innate chemistry. Woods has kind of a stentorian. I always think of him as like the guy on the street corner yelling like insane wisdom out into the universe. And then Elucid is like a student of post-colonial history, PhD, just like dropping insane bars in these crazy cadences and weaving different themes together. And the way that they play off of each other amidst production by people like Andrew Broder and some of their other collaborators is just, it's a beautiful record. And while they were previously known for their kind of dystopian industrial sounding work, especially on their previous masterpiece Paraffin from 2018, here they take almost a kind of I don't know if I quite want to say pastoral, but a much more nature influenced, calm approach to diagnosing the world's ills. Shrines has a beautiful cover, and if you want to hear the story of how the cover photo was secured, you can check out our podcast. Rhymes from some of the best in the business, including Curly Castro, Pink Sifu, Quelle Chris, Rap Ferreira, Akai Solo, Earl Sweatshirt, More Mother. Beautiful singing by Fielded. It's just a complete project by 2 MCs at the top of their game. Shrines by Arm & Hammer coming in number 2 so far.
All right. And number 3, my pick for record of the year is Purple Moonlight Pages by Rap Ferreira, also artist formerly known as Milo. This record we've talked about quite a bit on the podcast because I feel like it's got colors and tones that are not common in today's rap, underground or mainstream genres. Rap Ferreira is a voice who is very loquacious and can rappity rap with the best of them, but then he's also not above doing very simple, catchy things. And so I really related to this album. It's deeply jazz influenced. It has production from Kenny Siegel and the Jefferson Park Boys, which the sound of it is why I love it so much. It's very different. It takes the listener on a ride. It isn't one note as sometimes some records are these days. So I think it's a vibrant, beautiful record. It's not just dark, but it is dark, and it's not just bright, but it is bright. This is one of those records that in a year of a lot of dope releases still stands out 6 months in. And so I do feel like we'll be having a very strident debate at the end of the year about what is the one album of the year. So my pick thus far that I'm still rocking with is Purple Moonlight Pages by Rap Ferreira. If you've enjoyed our little banter here, you can check out the Dad Bod Rap Pod. We put out new episodes every Thursday. We're on all the platforms. If you want to hear about another record that's probably going to creep into the album of the year conversation, we just did an interview with the Koreatown Oddity. His album, Little Dominique's Nosebleed, is going to be in the conversation. It just came out, so we didn't include it in this wrap up, but definitely something that you should check out, and you should definitely check out the podcast. Shout out to Crate 808. We definitely have been enjoying the link up, collaborating with Cam and all the good folks over there. So Dad Bod Rap Pod, signing off.
So, as most fans out there who've been listening will know, we did ask people for some correspondence on a variety of different subjects. We've sifted through the mail. We've got a few out here I want to pitch to you guys. And man, our fans out there, they're just like us, lads. They're just like us. First up, well, we'll start with one of our friends. Ashley Chain emailed in, and he said his least hip-hop thing he's done is he trimmed his potato plants back because some of the stems were losing their colour and using vital nutrients that were stunting the growth of the fruit itself. And I mean, that is just responsible gardening.
This is so Partridge. It's brilliant.
It's very Partridge. It's very Partridge. Oh, mate, what is the best Lord? So I was thinking there, thank you for that. That's very least hip hop. Responsible gardeners out there.
I don't understand how he would know that was what was stunting the growth of the fruit, though. How would you know that?
Well, as you know, mate, one of the pillars of hip hop is knowledge. And I think what you do is you go online and you find some knowledge about your tomato plant, mate. That's what you do.
I just dispute that's what's happened. I dispute it.
You have no evidence. Oh, but that's MAGA. I get it. Yeah, got it.
Fake news. Fake news, Ash.
I'm joking. But I was going to say to you guys, responsible gardeners out there, who would be the most responsible gardener in 90s rap? That's what I wanted to pitch to you boys.
It's going to be real. End of story.
Yeah, Be Real was mine. Be Real was mine as well. Be Real surely is the most responsible gardener. He's still gardening today. So there you go.
Winner.
Second up, Julian. Hi, Crate 808. Recently discovered the podcast. I've been catching up hard through lockdown. Good lad. Love you. Great. I've got a Slept-On Wu banger for you, right? I'd never heard this before, so I'm already reaping rewards from this. Wild Style Super Freak by You God. Now, I pitched that. I forwarded that to the lads. I'm looking forward to what you guys think, lads. What were you saying to this Superfly from You God?
I only listened to 20 seconds of it, but it sounded good. Has it got what's Ghostface's little crew, Theodore Unit? Is one of the rappers from Theodore Unit on it?
Oh, I don't know. There may be, though.
The first verse isn't You God, is it? It's not. The first verse isn't You God.
No. Second verse is You God.
So I think that's someone from Theodore Unit.
Wow. Big call on the Theodore Unit. We need more of them on the pod, man. I really enjoyed the track. I thought it was really amped up. I really enjoyed
it sounded
the
good.
Blaxploit. Yeah, it's not on Spotify, by the way, guys. It's on YouTube, so you have to go search that out. What did you reckon, Ray? You God Super Freak, Wild Style Super Freak.
As I've already established on this episode, I only listen to Spotify. So if it's not on there, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist to me. It simply does not exist.
He also doesn't like the Wu-Tang. So the Wu-Tang on YouTube, he'd fucking hate that.
Yeah, God, it's just compounding matters, isn't it? Well, Julian, I thank you for sending that in. I really enjoyed it. For people out there who are crate diggers, apparently it only came out on vinyl as a B-side. So, yeah, good luck trying to find that out there. If
Thanks,
it's not
Julian.
Cheers, Julian. Tony Wright, mate, big up. Least hip hop thing he's done this morning. Potting plants on his balcony. More responsible gardening. I think this is a little niche we're finding here in the audience here, lads. I'm enjoying it.
You're like the Alan Titchmarsh of hip hop.
Alan Titchmarsh of hip hop. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take anything like that, to be fair. So Tony said there's a Wu-Tang banger that's been slept on. Hollow Bones on the W. Come on, guys. What are we saying? Hollow Bones. It's what I really enjoy anyway, but what are you guys saying?
Yeah, the W's one is an alright album. So it's got some good tracks. Can't remember. Oh yeah, Hollow Bones has got that soul sample, doesn't it?
Yeah, the vocal
sample.
Yeah,
it's alright. It's alright. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't say it's slept on. I mean, I have slept on it, so yeah, it is slept on, I guess.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it will be on our Slept-On Wu-Tangers playlist, which will be
Slept-On Wu-Tangers. That's right.
Hey, that's the second thing we should be doing. Slept-On Wu-Tangers. What is a Wu-Tanger? Yes, Slept-On Wu-Tang Bangers playlist. I'll put that in the show notes, and it's also on Spotify. Go check that out. And another email we got, Liam K. Here we go. Least hip hop thing Liam's done is arranging his spice rack. And I just to kick things off, underrated task, mate. Underrated task, especially in an Asian household. Because the last thing you need when you're looking for the paprika is getting the fucking turmeric in there, and then the missus coming over and saying, you put too many of these, just get out, stop getting curries wrong. That's essentially what my week's like sometimes. But I can imagine a lot of dope dealers having a very, very organised spice rack, because you need that OCD to separate shit. But what are you saying to that? Spice racks, lads, let's go.
I can't taste spice. I can't. I have no sense of smell, so spice means nothing to me. When people go, do you want some of this spice on it? I'm like, you might as well just put like dust on it, because I can't taste it. I can only taste salt, sweet, like sour, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Wow. There you go. Raymond, spice rack. What's your spice rack saying, Ray?
More spice the better. I can taste spice. It's delicious.
Amazing. Good work, Ray.
But like in your world, Ray, you'd want to dump all the spice in and not remove any of the spice. It's got to have all the spices. Don't remove one, because that's reductive. To remove one is reductive and officially worse. So dump all the spice in.
Just a really powdery curry. Amazing. Love it. Well, another one.
I dispute how much. I don't know. There's a lot of gardening and food references. People are saying that it's not hip hop. I think that is hip hop.
What, spice racks?
Yeah.
As I said, I think a lot of, especially ex-dope dealers that became rappers, I think you need to have that OCD variant around. You need that a little bit. Darcy O'Connor, I think is from your end of the woods there, Ray. I think he might be in Australia somewhere. Old Darcy. He messaged and said, I had a long conversation with a female colleague about her upcoming nuptials, specifically the importance of choosing a good celebrant. Celebrant?
Celebrant. Yeah.
Celebrant. That's what it is. So, again, quite non-hip-hop. I can't imagine, most people got wedding planners, right? I don't know.
I wonder if the word celebrant has ever been used in a hip-hop song, ever. I don't think it would. I'd be
Anyone
really
out there, get in touch. I want to know. Darcy, do you know, mate? Come on, bring it if you do. And his Slept-On Wu Bangers were the Kill Army, mate. Kill Army. They brought some stuff out recently, which is quite good, actually. Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars project. I listened to that again the other day because you recommended it, Darcy, and it is still stands up. It's just classic Wu from the mid-90s. So there you go, the Crate 808 mailbag. Thank you guys for sending us your messages. Anyone else out there who's got least hip-hop things or anything like that, or anything that we've got to say about these top 5 records, email us crate808@gmail.com, or just get in touch with us on Twitter, crate808.com, all that good stuff. Now, the top 2 albums from everyone coming up. So, number 2, James Midwinter. Number 2 on your list, my friend. What is it and why?
Okay, my number 2, I've put my top 5 on like how much I bumped them. But in terms of like cultural relevance and importance, I'd say this would be number 1. Run the Jewels, RTJ4.
Big.
I feel like it's like, I don't know, sums up the time we're in. It's a really good album. It's going to be on our end of year albums. At least 2 of us will bring it, I reckon. Yeah. It's great, and it's really interesting, because I was saying earlier about how hip hop's gone in the direction of early 2000s in terms of like a lot of albums are going for a kind of Def Jux sound, like Cannibal Ox type sound. And like the person who was one of the architects of that sound, along with, you know, Madlib, is LP. And he's out here putting out a massive, big budget sounding banger of a hip hop album that, you know, it's really interesting. But yeah, great album. So many lyrics on it that are going to resonate for years to come. I feel like Walking in the Snow, for instance, like Killer Mike's verse on that, like, is deep. And yeah, really exciting. Yeah, great, exciting times. And like I think you were saying, Cam, it's like, who's had a better 4-album run than these guys?
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, me and Ray have done an extensive review on RTJ4, track by track review. Go check that out. We'll put the link in again in the show notes. Again, what more can you say after going track by track? But what you've just said is, yeah, it's relevant. It's probably going to be in my list. It is my number 1 album so far in 2020. And that's really going off bumped. I bump it all the time. As you will listen to in our review, even Ooh La La is a family anthem now. So my little lad, my wife, everyone sings that hook. So, I mean, Ray, step on up, man. What I mean, we talked about it on the review, but bring it to this. But what are you saying to RTJ?
Yeah, it's got some ridiculous tracks on it. Yanking the Brave, Walking in the Snow. Walking in the Snow is just next level. And obviously just as well with Zach De La Rocca on it as well. It's just being so Zach De La Rocca, as we said on the thing. It's just it's got some great tunes. I don't want to step on the toes of what we've already said on the review. And also, as ever, I don't have only positive things to say about it. But let's not go into that now.
Yeah, no, Ray, it was really nice to actually dive into that album with you, because you discover a lot of things when you talk to someone, especially track by track and lyrics and all that. There's so much in it. There's a lot of depth. It's big budget, exactly like Jambo said. When you said do they have the best run, I would like to pitch that to the listeners as well. Run the jewels. Have they got the best run of albums in the last decade? I mean, I would probably say they're up there with Kendrick. People have got Rock Marciano. People have got Freddie Gibbs. They have had amazing projects. Run the Jewels seem to have a consistency for me that they also bring live, that I've said to you before. But it's also things like, you know, the imagery for this album. That's one thing I did want to touch on in this episode that we didn't really get touch on in the review too much, was the imagery. And like, there's been some great articles on how Run the Jewels evolved that icon. Do you know, for their single, when they released it, they're in Mike's car and they've got guns, and there's like this powder coming off the wheels. So even that, there's been some articles, and big up those people out there who are doing that kind of stuff. And that image alone, I looked at it, and Killer Mike actually loves Hot Wheels photography, which is like miniature photography of cars. The details they go into for stuff like that, all that smoke is man-made. Like they said, we want man-made smoke, but it looks real. And this amount of detail that goes into it. You remember where they started with the chain and the guns and the iconography, and now the chain's gone. And they've evolved the symbol, something Wu never did. Wu just kept that symbol, and that was it. And like Run the Jewels, like, no, now the chain's gone. And there's interviews out there where they've said the chain, you know, resembles whatever, and this is freedom or whatever. There is all that you can read into it if you want to. But I just love the fact that they're the complete package. The videos to the artwork to the way they just come across in interviews. Yeah, man. Run the Jewels. Number 1 for me. Number 2 for Jambo. What's number 2 for Raymond Ridge, though? Let's go, Ray.
Are you ready?
I think I am. I've been thrown by your last 2, so I think I'm ready.
Yeah, that's again. So they're not in order, and I'm making up the order as I go along. And yeah, Run the Jewels is not even in the top 5, frankly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I let that sit there for a moment. Let that wow just echo and resonate in people's minds.
How is that not in your 5? It's amazing. Okay, go on. What's your 2?
So I guess what I'm saying is, you know, if I'm about the boom bap beats and the beautiful samples as I am, number 2 is Reasonable Drought. Stove God Cooks with Rock Marciano on the beats. Have you heard that?
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
Hold on. This isn't Ray. This is someone else who's commented. Mate, that album's great. Rock Marcy produced that, right?
Yeah. It's Rock Marciano on the beats. It's it caught me off guard because I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie, I hadn't heard Stove God Cooks before. But from the outset, that first beat, the Rolls Royce brake lights, just the beats, the samples, they're so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and just like, yeah, I don't know. His raps are they're just I don't know, just standard would be at home on a Griselda track kind of rhymes. But it doesn't matter. It's so beautiful. It's just beautiful hip hop is what it is. And I'm loving it.
Damn.
There's Rolls Royce brake lights. The beat is ridiculous. Jim Boheem. What's that track?
Jim
Is it one line? There's one line that's still got one hand on the rock, like cliffhangers. Like I love it's clever shit, but it's still drug dealing shit, you know. So it's fine. And then there's this and John Starks as well as another highlight on that. It's raps. It's over sax. Or it's over some kind of brass instrument. I don't know what it is, but it's beautiful, and I keep going back to it. So I can't recommend it enough.
Wow, Ray, I'm a little bit shocked, but I love it. I absolutely love this. I think it's one of the Slept-On albums this year. People have talked about it. It's not in my 5, but yeah, I'm glad you brought it. Most of the tracks from that album are on the Crate 808 Bangers playlist. I mean, Rock Marcy can't do much wrong. He's on Car's album as well, and when he's on that duet, I'm waiting for. Is it I can't remember what their combo album, something about clergy or something. That their double album's supposed to come out at some point. Their collab project, and I love Rock Marcy anyway. But yeah, man, Stove God, I was a fan. Yeah. Jambo, have you heard that album?
Not heard it. I've just added it along with the other one Ray bought, the CJ Fly, to my 2020 playlist to listen to.
Yeah, go check
it. Sounds promising. I like.
There's one track. What is it? I can't remember the hook, the line on it. It's something like. It's raining cats and dogs and bricks. It's raining cats, which is just like the most unnecessarily like over the top drugs. Yeah, no, it's good. It's done well. It's done well.
I love that, man. Wicked. Yo, just got to have a little break here for a second to check in with some boys that we've been linking with. They had me on their podcast, Shotgun the Orcs. Big up yourselves, boys. Thank you for getting Crate 808 on there. It was great to chat. Any of you guys who want to check out that episode and get a bit of behind the scenes knowledge of the Crate 808 podcast, go check them guys out. And coming up are their albums of 2020 so far. So without further ado, let's go.
Yo, this is Shotgun the Orcs. You're here with Tom, Aidan, and Jake. Big up the Crate 808 podcast each and every time. So we're here today to talk about our top albums of 2020 so far. Not such a good year generally, but it's been a sick year for hip hop. So Jake, man, what have you got?
Yeah, crazy year, as you say, Tom. When we were asked to do this initially, it was quite hard to remember what has actually happened apart from COVID. So I had to go back and revisit a lot of things, but in the end I've settled on Unlocked, so Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. The reason this stood out as the sort of album of the year was just how energetic it was. There was such great synergy between both artists on the album all the way through, and it's only a short album, 20 minutes long, not even that. The beats are just so sort of grit your teeth, that squint, bump your head like all the way through. To describe the audio of it, you just need to look at the album cover, and that basically says it all. It's just like some cartoon vibe, and it just takes you on some like crazy journey. And I also quite like the naming of each track. It was like your old MP3 player, which pays homage to the short film that accompanies the album, about how these songs go missing, and they have to like trace them back. That's my album of 2020 so far, unless something better comes out.
Nice one, man. Yeah, no, sick album. I think that's a really good choice. Aidan, what have you got, man?
So my album, it has to be Pray for Paris from West Side Gun. Now, ever since I met Tom, he's been telling me to listen to Griselda. For the majority of our friendship, I've ignored him. I've slept on Griselda for a long time. It's only since this like sort of lockdown that I've just thought, oh, I'm going to listen to this album. Holy shit, okay. Pray for Paris, I think, is a work of art. West Side Gun himself is just a character. The album artwork, I think, is sick. When I first started listening to Griselda, I was a little bit closed-minded, and I was a bit like, okay, I'm not really getting this. A lot of the stuff was sounding quite samey, and that was very small-minded of me, I'll admit that. But then when I properly listened to it, I took time to actually sit down and listen to the lyrics. The technicality in the lyrics and how smart they are, like it's madness. And I get now why so many people like rate Griselda and rate West Side Gun as that sort of. It is proper hip hop, but I feel like it's still underground, where it's like in that good hip hop. This album has taken me on like a little gateway into all of Griselda. Pray for Paris, top album of 2020.
Big up, man. So you're a convert. Yeah, they've got so much material, Griselda, man. You're going to love it. My album of the year so far is J Electronica, A Written Testimony. So when he first kind of like started teasing the internet with this, I don't think anyone really took him seriously, myself included. And like, why would you? Because he's taken forever to drop fucking anything. And since that Big Sean joint, Control, where Kendrick bodied everyone, I thought it was good night, Mr. Electronica. But lo and behold, it dropped. I'm not even going to front. I fucking love this record. This JLEC album just really like resonated with me sonically. I love the lo-fi production. There's some insanely like lush cuts on there. Highlights being the Alchemist produced track Never Ending Story, Fruits of the Spirit with that track by No ID. The sample from The Imaginations, Because I Love You, like gets me every time. I think they used that same sample on Talib Kweli's Never Been in Love, and that Blinding track with Travis Scott just absolutely fucking bangs. And the closing track, API DTA with the Khruangbin instrumental, and I'm a huge fan of Khruangbin, even though their recent project Mordecai was a bit underwhelming. But back to this project, a lot of the content I can't really relate to directly, specifically when J Electronica and Jay-Z rap a lot about kind of the 5% Nation of Islam stuff, and like I can't relate to that. However, musically, it's a feeling I haven't really felt from listening to a rap record in a long time. I think because it came out just before the COVID lockdown, I think the intensity of like the listening experience resonated even more, if that makes sense, because it was like, it just evoked some kind of emotion. Jay-Z's presence on the album is a little bit overwhelming, but he still comes through with some really, really hefty bars. So all in all, I love this album. That's my album of the year so far. So do you boys have any honourable mentions?
There's definitely a couple that need to be mentioned, and I think that the biggest one would be Mac Miller's Circles. I think that definitely needs a mention, because that was a good album, mate. A good bit of work. And also Music to Be Murdered by Eminem. Eminem's been a bit rocky over the last few years, but I think this was actually one of the better bits of work in the last decade. So worth a mention, I think.
That's not saying much though.
No.
Mine would have to be Alfredo. Is that Alfredo?
Yeah, Alfredo, man.
The Alchemist, man. He's just smashing out album after album at the moment, man. It's mad. I rate it so much.
Great album. But my honourable mention's probably Chica, Industry Games. She is fucking sick. If you haven't heard her, check it out. R.A. the Rugged Man's album, All My Heroes Are Dead. The layout of his albums are always like consistently inconsistent. I think there were some really good vibes on here. It's like an absolute monster of an album. It's like a double album. And lastly, Juggernaut with his album Bem, and he's in my top 5 UK rappers, Nottingham-based rapper. Go and check him out, he's fantastic. So yeah, that's our choices for 2020 so far. Big up Crate 808 each and every time.
All day, every day.
And we're out.
Safe.
Peace.
Well, my 5 are kind of done then, lads. My number 2, obviously number 1 is Run the Jewels. Number 3 is Alfredo. Number 2 for me is The Price of Tea in China. Boldy James, Alchemist again, so I'm sure you're not going to be enjoying it too much, Ray. But that album for me is, I mean, I would say it's as well produced as Alfredo, if not better. There's beats I go back to that he's just an auteur. We use this with Madlib a lot as well, but there is a lot of texture to their music, as in there's a feeling. It evokes physical feelings from me. As in, it's amazing. And I love the sequencing is amazing. I've really, really enjoyed his voice. I think Boldy James' voice, I have slept on Boldy James, not going to lie. I only got into him, I think it was the Bold Faced EP that was out last year. He did with Alchemist, but he's been around since like early like 2010s. And I just love his voice, man. It's something about it. It's incredibly listenable. He's got bars on there that are just ludicrous. One of them was, again, it's couplets. It's that couplet flow that Alchemist really, his production really helps, I feel. Like you catch them as you go. So Stove God's got that a little bit as well, I think. There's a few couplets on there, if I remember correctly, that was like, oh, hold on, I enjoyed that. But on this, there's one that really sticks out to me, which was the burly worms get the birds with the biggest beaks. Just changing early to burly worked really well for me. I was just like, yeah, that's a burly. Imagine what a burly worm looks like. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? And like those kind of things when he comes out with that, and then talking about, he's got so many references in this that it's a lot of dope talk for sure. But he talks about his mum. He talks about growing up and being poor, not being able to pay his phone bill, shit like that as well. And just I love his bars. He is a bit like Freddie Gibbs, but with bullet time flow is what I had written down. And I don't know what bullet time flow really is. Is bullet time flow when what I'm trying to say is he's slower and more, he doesn't switch it up like Freddie switches it up all the way through Alfredo. He doesn't do that. He kind of knows what his flow is. It's quite measured. And I was thinking, is that bullet time? Matrix fans, is that bullet time? I don't know. Like, what is bullet time? This is like that. This is like that video where that presenter's like, "What is gay? Am I gay? You're gay. Are you gay?" It feels like that. It feels like I'm doing that. But yes, Surf and Turf, there are so many. Again, if you want us to do a review on this, I will definitely do that. We will do reviews on these. But another quick shout out, there has been some great features this year, but let us not sleep on Vince Staples on this, on Surf and Turf. Fucking hell. They both bring it on that, to be fair. But I'm here for all of that. I'm always here for Vince Staples, but him over Alchemist, fucking let's go, man. And there's just loads of moments, again, very atmospheric. Yes, please. Love it. Anyone out there who actually does want to school us on Boldy James more, please let me know more tracks I should listen to.
I like I like Caruth on that album. It was good. I just had a thought. Because Alchemist has made a lot of music this year. Do you think the fact that like he cuts out the drums just helps him to make more? I don't have to bother about the drums. Just make the track. We can get we can make 5 albums a year if we just cut the drums out.
Maybe, man. Maybe.
People will love it. They'll think it's so quirky. Oh, dickhead.
No, I think there's I don't know if you heard that Ray earlier, but I think there's the dedicated audience to it are rabidly dedicated. Like they are, I don't know if I'm in that or not, but judging by my merch collection, probably am. It's like when you think of what people used to do, I don't know what a young 19-year-old now thinks when they start bringing music. Are they thinking, I want to get 1 million streams on my album or my song? Or are they now thinking, well, no, we don't need 1 million streams. We need, like Nipsey Hussle, we need a dedicated fan base that will pay $200 for shit. And you only need like 100,000 of them.
That's what we need. That's what we need as a podcast. If we can find 100,000 people who buy shit, then it's going to be great.
Brilliant. But it's fascinating to me when you stretch the argument outside of just the albums of how the actual hip hop is changing. I mean, we loved merch and Echo and stuff. We'd buy all that stuff when we were kids, right? You'd buy the Tommy Hilfiger shit. But now it's not Tommy Hilfiger, it's a Griselda merch or it's Freddie Gibbs merch or something like that. Like the amount of bandana merch I've got is crazy. I've got like 5 items. It's like, yeah, I love that album, but it's not as good as Pinata.
Are you flexing? Is this like that what the kids call you're flexing right now? Is that what you're doing?
I'm not flexing. I'm not. Seriously not. I've got income. I've got disposable income. That's what it is. So.
And nonetheless, I'm the only one wearing a Crate 808 t-shirt right now. The only one representing. I'm the only one.
I should have worn mine, but like when we get video podcasting, I'm definitely going to wear mine.
Yeah, but at least I can say it so people can hear it. They can know, at least Ray's representing. Good. All right, good.
You're always representing, Ray, one thing or another. What did you guys think to Price of Tea in China, if you heard it at all?
I've listened to it. I thought it didn't grab me as much as the other albums of this style, such as Car and my number 1 album, and like it was fell into like Medhane. Do you like his albums?
I love Medhane. Yeah,
I like them as well, but they all didn't quite jump out of the barrel as much as the ones that I've got on this list. But it's good. It's good.
Such a nice way of saying it. Didn't grab me as much as the other albums of this style. None of the albums of this style grabbed me, and this one didn't grab me either. So. Yeah.
Did you listen to it, Ray? Did you give it a listen?
Yes, I did give it a listen. Yeah, I gave it a listen early in the year. It's got the
weird artwork.
Yeah, the weird artwork on the front of it, where you're like, oh, that looks interesting. And the artwork's more interesting than the album is. Anyway, it's fine. It's all right. It's my opinion. Carry on.
Before we get to number 1s, then, can we just talk about album cover of the year?
Yeah.
Because if we talk about artwork, like quickly, what is your album covers of the year?
Pop Smoke. That's the one with the terrible Virgil Abloh.
I was going to say, are you serious?
Meet the Woo 2?
Yeah.
Meet the Woo 2 is like, a really amazing piece of artwork in comparison to his posthumous album, which the Virgil Abloh did the artwork for on his phone. I think someone was saying it's like a Snapchat, like he's put it together using Snapchat or something. It's
fucking
awful.
Hell.
Someone actually did. Someone went and using Instagram stories took, the little stickers you get and made something that looks almost the same as the version that famed Kanye West and Louis Vuitton designer Virgil Abloh put together for the album.
Jesus Christ, man. Although he did do Pray for Paris, and I love that album cover. So
That could have been done in bloody Instagram stories as well.
That's nice. I enjoyed it. But what did you have then?
What did I have?
Or both? Either of you? Which one did you have?
Oh, I just had a joke. That's what my joke was. I don't have an actual answer.
What about you, Ray? What you got, man?
Oh, so I have got the best album cover of 2020.
Go on.
Have you seen the Curb Commentator Channel 1 by E40?
Oh,
God, no, but...
I haven't. This is one I was meaning to listen to for this podcast.
Yeah, you need to show that. So that is E40 sitting behind a news desk, like tapping his paper on the table. It's so good. It's
such it's fucking fantastic.
Such a good album cover.
That's genuinely good.
Fantastic.
So
yeah,
good.
you win. You absolutely win. That is, and is that some Courvoisier he's got there or some heavy?
Yeah, just on the desk. What news show is this? I want to see it. I'm on board.
Yeah, I love his 40 water chain.
It's his smile. His smile's brilliant.
I love E40, man. I fucking love him. He's great. To be fair, probably does win. My one was Arm & Hammer's Shrines album cover. Fucking astounding. It's a really good project anyway, but the cover, if you do find time to check
I've seen that. Yeah,
is a tiger and a New York police officer with a shotgun, and the tiger's like coming at him, and he's in an apartment.
Yeah, it's climbing on a ladder, isn't he?
Yeah, one, there's layers, clearly, but two, it also makes you think, how the fuck has a tiger got into a high-rise apartment? Like, what is going on right now? This is so mad, and it's clearly real. I feel. I don't think it's photoshopped or anything, but it's fantastic album cover. Really enjoyed that.
Hey, yo, this your boy Farrell March, and right now, you are rocking live with the Crate 808 podcast. Enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. Peace.
My number one album has a decent cover. It's a nice sort of screen print with orange and blue. It's quite good, but you'll have to wait.
Well, we're going to come on to number ones. Mine's RTJ. What have you got, Jambo? Number one, what is it? Let us know.
My number one is an album called Ada Erin by Navy Blue. Have you heard it?
Navy Blue. I was waiting for Navy Blue to be brought up by you. I thought you may. He was on some work with Preservation as well. I don't know if you heard that.
No, I don't think I have. It's only like in the last month or two that I've got into this.
Yeah, tell me more, mate. Tell me more.
He is an ex-pro skater called, I think his name's I can't pronounce it, Sage. In my head, it's Sage Alès, but it's Sage Alsassa or something like that. And it's, again, of the same sort of genre, the drumless genre that Ray hates. It's very spoken word. It's very personal. He's kind of like...
So not hip-hop then?
Oh, it's hip-hop. It's definitely hip-hop. He has Car on one of the tracks, and he sounds
he does.
He sounds like Car's son, is what he like Navy Blue is a bit like. And he's like more interested in emotions and introspection. Car's introspective, but I'd say Car's like a little bit more abstract and artistic in certain ways. But the samples on it are beautiful. And yeah, just back to back, every track's beautiful and great and really interesting. And yeah, I think he's going to go far. He produced the whole thing himself.
That's amazing.
To me, as an artist, is quite exciting that lyrically, he's a really he's an interesting guy, and the fact that he produced it all, to me, that is like he's going to have longevity. He's also really interested in fashion, so all these things, I feel like he's going to build to being a quite successful artist from this genre. I think he's going to be the standout. I saw that Medhane got best new music on Pitchfork. To me, this is better than Medhane.
Is it Medhane or Medhane? I keep calling
Medhane. I don't know,
but I like Medhane's last two projects are fucking incredible. Like when you talk about rewindable, they're in the Crate 808 Bangers playlist, so just search him out on there. But that, fuck man, it's just so good. I really enjoy him. And I thought this was of that same ilk. I did think this was...
It's similar.
You're right. It's very introspective. It's quite not airy fairy. It's quite. He seems like quite a fragile person when I was listening to it. It doesn't feel like yo rah, like ranting and raving.
It doesn't have street corner references and stuff like that, like Medhane does.
He's definitely from the school of Earl Sweatshirt.
Earl Sweatshirt. He does seem a lot like that. I feel like his beats are a little bit more enjoyable than Earl's beats. Like, they're quite beautiful. I feel like Ray should have a listen to this one. I feel like he might like it more than...
I'm adding it to my 2020 playlist.
I think inevitably he's either going to go, oh, I really like that. That was quite good. Or he's going to go, yeah, just the same as all the other shit.
Well, if you do enjoy that though, Jambo, do check out Preservation's project North Bridge, because Navy Blue's on it. Is it North Bridge? I don't know if his album's not called North Bridge. I think the track's called North Bridge. I think the album's called like Eastern.
Oh,
Medicine.
North Bridge single. Okay, I'll put that on my
Eastern Medicine, Western Illness. That's it. Yeah, that's the one. Check the album out, man. It's pretty decent. It's got Quelly Chris on there and people like that on there as well. So yes, mate. Okay, enjoying that. Number 1, Jambo. Nice. I wonder if that's going to stay.
Since I got it, I just bumped it loads. It's just such an atmospheric album. It's such a nice listen.
Yo, just a small chronic break for a second. You guys are in for a treat. We're going to go talk to our friend Chris Mitchell from the Breaking Atoms podcast to hear about what the flavour of 2020 has been saying to him, to hear about his top 5 albums, and to get some honourable mentions as well. So let's check out those lists.
Greetings and salutations. This is Chris Mitchell from the Breaking Atoms podcast, where we break things down to the very last compound, large up to my co-host Sumit every time. I'm here to share some of my favourite hip-hop albums from the year of 2020 thus far. This is not a definitive list, it's only based on what I've heard. And it's not a preferential list either. So let's start. Carpe Noctem from Big Ghost Ltd. If you're a fan of posse cuts and hearing MCs just go for broke and really want to shine on a song and have the best performance and not just out-rap each other but turn in a great performance and a song, this album is for you. It's basically an album full of posse cuts. If you're a fan of like Scenario, The Symphony, other posse cuts like Eastern Conference All-Stars, Let It Rain, all that type of stuff, this is a great album. It's like a celebration of everything that Big Ghost Ltd has done so far. It features Crime Apple, SD Knack, Ace on Eastwood, Rome Street, and a bunch of other people, so I would highly recommend that album. The next on my list is an album that I just discovered maybe a few days ago. Big up to the Dad Bod Rap Pod podcast. This album is called MF Blue by Blue and Spanish Ran. In terms of the name and the artwork, it's a tribute to MF Doom and his album Food, but musically it's really sample based, stripped down, lyrical, content driven hip hop. It's something that you can really zone out and listen to, or it's just something you can have playing in the background while you're washing the dishes or whatever, cutting your toenails, I don't know. But it's a really great album, and there's nothing better for me than discovering new music from a new artist that's right up your street. Next on my list, Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist. Makes sense on paper and it sounded even better to the ears. Freddie Gibbs has had an amazing past few years actually, and this album was needed. It was unexpected, but it was definitely needed. It's real short, 10 songs, but him and the Alchemist sound great together, and there's a lot of good guest spots. Freddie Gibbs is on a roll. I think he's probably in contention for being one of the game's most consistent MCs. Rude Boy by CJ Fly of Pro Era. The album is totally produced by Static Selector, but I gotta give CJ Fly props. As an MC, his skill level has just gone through the roof. The rapping is just on a whole other level. His storytelling, his clarity, the tone, the intonation, how he pronounces things, the imagery. But what I love most about it has a very West Indian tone that runs through it, but it's not one of those ones where it's kind of like you're trying to squeeze a square into a triangle and it's not forced. It's just really, really natural. And when I listen to it, I feel a sense of pride, man. My Jamaican blood just starts boiling, like in a good way. The production, as per usual, is Static Selector, so it's excellent, it's amazing. But this album is slightly different because what I heard is that they recorded this album to sample-based beats, couldn't clear the samples for whatever reason, and ended up having all the tracks and the samples replayed. So it's all live instrumentation, so it keeps that real sample classic feel, but it feels bigger when you listen to it. There's lots of movement, lots of drop-ins, and it's just a very rich musical experience. And I sound like I'm homeboy from MasterChef, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's a great album. CJ Fly, produced by Static Selector, Rude Boy. One album I definitely know is my favorite of the year. I've got to give it to Reasonable Drought, which is Stove God Cooks, produced by Rock Marciano. For me, there's nothing better than when a talented MC finally finds their voice and finally finds the right producer at the same time. And that's what this album is. It's a lot of drugs talk, but you know what? I'm all about the music, man. As for me, I don't ever want to hear Stove God Cooks rap about anything from now on apart from drugs and how the sale of narcotics has destroyed his community. I am all for it. I've also got a list of honorable mentions here I'd like to add. I'm just going to run through the names of the albums and the artists. You guys do the Googles yourselves and find them out. Preservation, who's a producer. His album Eastern Medicine, Western Illness, dope. Obviously Car, Descendants of Cain, Boldy James, and The Alchemist. I must say I'm quite heated. I bought the Price of Tea in China on the day it was released, only to find out that today they've released the deluxe edition with 4 extra tracks. Great news for those of us who buy albums on release day. Another album I'd like to add to my honorable mentions is Where the Sidewalk Ends by Midas the Beast. Two Hands Up by Mega Ran, fully produced by Young RJ of Slum Village. Fresh Air, which is UFO Thief, again produced by Static Selector. Big shout out to Ono and Madlib for the Professionals album. It came out in January. Family Jewels by Knowledge the Pirate. Hot Garbage by my boy K-Knight. I'm not showing any kind of favoritism or, beg friend and whatnot, but it's a really good album, even though I do know him personally. It's an amazing producer compilation. He's got Homeboy Sandman on there, Concept Jackson, and he's also got Juggernaut on there. And Juggernaut is also next on my list of honorable mentions with his album Bem. He's from Nottingham, UK. He's so dope. You need to check him out. And last on my list is Walking with Lions by the JMO Gang. Raz Kaz, my man J57, and I say he's my man because he produced the track for me, even though I haven't seen him in a number of years, but it just felt good to say that. And also Elgan is part of the group. So check out Walking with Lions by JMO Gang, and I think that's my entire list. So in the words of the great Mobb Deep, party over, tell the rest of the crew, peace.
So Raymond, just leaves you, my friend. Number 1 album of the year for you so far. What have you got, mate?
Number 1 album of the year. So before we reach that, I'm just going to cover a couple of other things that I thought were important to make notes of on this journey. So the What the Fuck Is Going On albums, which I'm pretty sure you would have listened to. Have you heard Purple Moonlight Pages by Rap Ferreira?
I love that album.
No, not heard it.
It's just, it's so confusing. There's so much. You're just like, I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand what's happening right now.
But it's great when it clicks. It's fucking fantastic. I really enjoy.
There is one track off that which we'll get to top 10 bangers of the year. There's one track off it where I'm like, boom, that was it. But you have to go through a lot of like confusion. I don't want to tilt people one way or another. And the other one was Draco the Ruler. Thank you for using GTL.
Oh yeah, that was that was quite interesting.
It's I'm just like, I don't understand what the intention was. I don't know if I dislike it. I just like, what's going on here? What's going on?
To be fair, Draco is a bit like that. I'm not really a massive fan, but again, another fan base which is fucking rabid. They love him.
I think it's a little bit like we're so used to these phone verses or being skits or the intro to a track, and then the track is like, hey guys, I've got friends in prison, and then the track kicks in. But now the friends in prison are doing a whole album. That's kind of like the Draco the Ruler album to me.
Yeah. I feel you. Man. Okay, so that's your What the Fuck playlist. What's the actual number 1 though?
So number one album released this year, High Off Life by Future.
Sorry. Hold on, what? What's happening? Come on, Ray, be honest. Come on.
Can you imagine? Fuck it. I also had Blame It on the Baby by the Baby, but fuck it up.
Oh god, the Baby can go eat a dick.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I'm not a fan.
I wasn't going to bring it up as a category. What the fuck is going on albums was more interesting, but that category was worst dog shit ever heard category. High Off fucking Future, Pop Smoke, The Baby, Jesus Christ. And these people, there are millions of people listening to this. It amazes me. It's just I'm utterly dumbfounded by that. It's just
Ray, you got to admit, Pop Smoke, if that came out in 2002, we'd have all been fucking loving it.
Yeah, you'd be in the club to it. But Ray would dance to anything in the club when he's had a few drinks.
Yeah, there you go. And
then he'd be asleep.
And then fall asleep. There you go. But I think you're equally going to be. Will you agree with it? Will you not? Number 1, Enter Fear, Tech 9. Have you heard it?
God, I didn't even know. I would never bother
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I have not even checked that out.
Are you a juggalo? Are you a juggalo right now?
It is fucking ridiculous. It's a long album, but it's got some tunes on it that you're like, holy fucking shit. And Tech Nine is just he's so slept on. Some of his verses on this are so technically perfect. I'm fussy about lyrics at the best of times when I'm talking about your Eminem, your Rakim, your Black Thought, Meth, just the people that are like pun, people that have that rhyme, people that rhyme really disciplined with the rhyming and have set patterns, and so that when you're listening to it, you have this expectation of where the rhyme's going to fall, and it falls there, and you're kind of rewarded. And it's like Tech Nine is fucking expert at that, and every track he switches up and then double time flow, but not in a like, oh my god, he's just doing it for the sake of it, which some people might say the Godzilla track might be that. Yeah, Tech Nine does it exactly. It's amazing on this fucking album, and I have come back to like there's a track called Outdone. There's Outdone and On the Outside are two tracks. Everything that you're thinking, this is more aimed at Jambo, everything that you're thinking, he literally talks, he addresses everything you're thinking about, like why he's not spoken about, why he's not, people just skip it, I would never bothered listening to him kind of thing. He literally answers everything that you're thinking. And anyone who's listening to this is like, Tech Nine. Listen to On the Outside and Outdone. And then there's a couple of others. I've not heard of this. Have you heard of Lex Bratcher or London Fire? No. So they're two. I mean, it opens up the female MC debate, and should we have separate categories or not? I don't know, but they both absolutely kill it on this album as well. Like to the extent where I'm like, hang on a sec, let me just go back and listen to what you just said, because they got some ridiculous verses on it.
Shit. What were their names?
So the
London Fire. They're
called Lex Bratcher and. It's just fucking modern thing. LANDXN. I imagine it's supposed to be London, and then Fire spelled with a Y. Of course, because it's hip hop, isn't it? But yeah, they're pretty good. I checked them out. They've not got much solo wise, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to bring?
Damn, I'm really here for all that stuff you've said. Tech Nine, of course, he's a technician when it comes to that fucking shit, isn't he? With the lyrics,
yeah,
he's a lyrical miracle.
He's a lyrical miracle. He is.
Yeah, he fucking is. There's one track called "Snake and the Batman," which if you were just, I think it's only like a minute and a half long, and it's just utterly ridiculous. The flows on it, and it goes one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And when you think he's stopped, he just goes again, and it's just he's just just ridiculous.
Wow. Well, there you go. Top 5 from everyone. Quite eclectic, I thought. I didn't think Ray would be bringing some of these, so you surprised me, Ray. I've enjoyed it. And Jambo, I really enjoyed your 5 as well. We have similar vibes, as most listeners who listen in know.
We like modern hip hop, basically. That's the vibe.
We like modern hip hop. We do. But I still think there's great space in the world for someone like Tech Nine. I love that though. I love and E40 with his amazing album covers. You know what I mean? There's that space is still there. It's great. Just a few albums, just in case that people are like, you didn't mention this, you didn't mention that. Of course, let us know.
Don't say them, because otherwise they won't email in. You want them to email in.
That's what I was going to say. If you have any, let us know. And I will check them out. I'm sure we'll reference them later in the pod at some point if we enjoy them. But there are some albums that are veering on rap that aren't really rap that I think that I wanted to bring. Like Knowledge's 1988 mixtape. I love that. But it's a beat tape. It's a beat tape, essentially.
Have we got space for honourable mentions?
If you have any, go for it. What have you got?
All My Heroes Are Dead, R.A. the Rugged Man.
Yeah, R.A.
That was
that. I listened to that after the interview and I was like, shit, this is pretty fucking good. Some of the tracks on it, yeah.
He's pulled out the stops on some of that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one as well. But I thought we were already kind of trodden that ground quite a bit. But it definitely needs honourable mention. Okay, I don't know. It's not really. Is it hip hop? I want to enjoy what Jadakiss puts out. But Ignatius is an early 2000s R&B album. Have you checked it?
I've checked it, but what you've said there is probably right.
Did you just say Jadakiss put out an early 90s R&B album?
Early 2000s R&B album.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s.
Jadakiss?
Yeah, Jadakiss, yeah.
What, he's singing?
No, I mean, it's hip-hop and it's him, but it's, there's just a lot of, it's just very, if you check it, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's very...
This is what I'm talking about, though. Everyone's trying to get early noughties. Like Cameron's putting out Purple Haze 2, which just sounds like a Dipset album from the early noughties. we've hit. So what's next? We can like take all of this and work out what the next movement in hip hop. What's like late noughties?
Well, I you could say that, but I do think there's parts of hip hop that we've not even touched yet, which you're a fan of. Like, is it Sifu Pinks? Something like that. I can't remember his name now. There is
Pink
that kind of
Sifu.
Pink Sifu, that's it. Pink Sifu, that real hard, brash, fucking death grips element kind of hip hop. That is in there. Injury Reserve, Run the Jewels, they all have that kind of music that I think will be adopted going forward more. But when you're saying late noughties, if you're trying to work it out that way, late noughties was quite southern, mate.
I started to go off hip hop for a little while after like because I don't know, there wasn't much good stuff coming out.
Yeah, no, same. Yeah. Late noughties, early, I don't know what the fucking 2010s, whatever they're called. It's just like,
I think there's a few people in our ilk who maybe just stepped out of the hip hop window for a bit and then came back when they heard, well, a lot of people talk about Rock Marciano again, but like him bringing people back. But again, you know, people at LP bringing albums out, and you know, there was always that when people like, you know, Evidence, people like that were bringing stuff out. You were still getting into it, and Black Milk.
Can I summer jam screen you, Cam?
Go on.
I remember hassling you to play LP's albums like I'll Sleep When You're Dead and stuff like that, and Cancer for Cure back then, and then you finally listened to it, and literally the man who likes everything, Kam Thandi, turned to me and said, I just don't really like them, mate. They're not my thing. And now he's the biggest Run the Jewels fan ever.
Absolutely do remember that. I remember
and they're basically the same. If you listen to them, they're just a Run the Jewels album without Killer Mike on, and yet you hated it.
No, do you know what it was that really got me into it was rap music. Rap music was the thing that broke my, like, you know, you talked earlier about attuning yourself to something. I think in that time I was so into other music that hip hop wasn't really in my go-to rotation. So when hearing Cancer for the Cure, I was like, well, this isn't going to go in my rotation. But then rap music came out and it was like, oh, I get it. Like, you know, I it just all clicked. And then you go back and you realize LPs has been doing that and working towards that. So yeah, man, I completely did sleep on it and wasn't really a massive fan of it. But yeah, there you go. How palettes change, isn't it?
Have you been back and listened to them? Because there's some bangers on there.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And a lot of Def Jux. I've been listening to a lot of Def Jux and stuff generally because Run the Jewels obviously being high on the radar this year. I was like, do you know what? I'm going to listen to some old LP, Company Flow, all that. And fuck, man, shit. Yeah, it's amazing. A lot of that could work today, I think. A lot of that. But yeah, just leaves us with, we've got our fives. Hope you guys enjoyed them so far this year. We're going to bring some more at the end. But we are going to do our top bangers of 2020 so far as well. So hold tight. That's coming up. Yo, just got to interject for a second right now to bring you some more flavour from some more friends of the podcast, doing good things out there, always bringing the rap commentary, which I love, Rhymes Like Dimes. Go check them out. They're going to drop us their favourite albums of the year so far. So, man, get ready. Let's check out what these boys have.
What's going on, world? This is the Rhymes Like Dimes podcast coming to you. It's myself, Yemi, Mohammed,
yo,
and Peter.
Yo.
Big thanks to Creator 08 for having us for their mid-year Albums of the Year episode. Shout out to them.
Big up.
We love what you're doing. Thank you for having us. So yeah, without any further ado, we're just going to get straight to it. Our 5 individual mid-year Albums of the Year. Mohammed, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, so I just went for what I keep going back to listen to and which ones I really thoroughly enjoyed. No surprise, Jay Electronica, their written testimony. Even though he got mollywopped on the album.
Mollywopped? He definitely got mollywopped.
He got spanked. That was one of my favourite albums this year. It's been one of my favourite albums for a while, actually. I'll keep going back to that album, especially the outro. Another one I've got is J Hus Big Conspiracy. I think to follow up Common Sense, the pressure on him was ridiculous. And we've seen a lot of people fall off. So for example, when Stormzy came out with his second album, I don't remember what it's called, but it didn't live up to the hype of the first one. And I feel like J Hus, musically, sonically, everything, absolutely bodied that album. So I've got that there. I've also got salute to Peter for this because I know Peter's gonna love this. I've got West Side Gun's album there.
Which one?
Pray for Paris. One person who's been talking about West Side Gun forever is Peter. So
I'm Griselda, man.
He's sitting there just smug.
I'm pretty much Griselda.
Fair enough. But he's sitting there smug right now, just looking at me smiling.
Yeah, great fans. You got the exclusive. Peter is actually a member of Griselda.
Yeah, he's the fourth member.
Unofficial.
But yeah, I've got West Side Gun, Pray for Paris. Another one I've got in there, I don't know if a lot of people have heard of him. It's about a rapper called Sue Surf. He's got an album called MSKYM. Don't know what it stands for. But the reason why I put that album there is because I'm a big believer in battle rappers can't make music. I feel like battle rappers struggle hard to make music. Same way musicians struggle to battle rap when they try to do it.
Yeah.
IG Cassidy.
That was unnecessary.
Terrible beats.
What'd you say?
Terrible beats.
He thought he was killing it in his bedroom that day, innit, fam. Looking like he's in some little locked up room, fam. Some cabinet of a bedroom.
Saying, man.
Looking like a fiend. So yeah, Sue Surf generally, if there's one battle rapper that is consistent with music, it is Sue Surf. He's got great features on the album, from Benny the Butcher to Jim Jones to Lady London. That album sonically sounds great, and there was a flow to it. There was a story to the whole album, and I feel like for a battle rapper that's kind of hard. Fifth, I put Kiss in there, Ignatius, just because Jadakiss is in my top 5 anyway. So whenever he drops an album, I'm always going to be biased. Whether it's one of his best or not, I'm always going to have biasness towards a Jadakiss album. So yeah, that'll be my top 5.
I'm just going to run down my top 5 real quick. In no order, I've got Conway and Big Ghost. No One Mourns the Wicked. Yeah, that album was just fire to me. It was dope, man. It was nice seeing them two come together. For those that don't know, when Griselda first came out, it was initially Westside Gunn and Conway, and they put out their first project together was produced by Big Ghost, so them going back to him was nice to see. Number 2, Gibbs and Alchemist, Alfredo, which was just fire. I think Gibbs on there is doing some of the best rapping I've heard this year, so it was just good to hear. And Alchemist as a producer is just he's just different, isn't it? Third, I've got J Electronica, A Written Testimony. I've been back to that album quite a lot, and yeah, I still enjoy it, man. It still sounds very fresh, and yeah, it's cool, man. Then I got Royce the 5'9", The Allegory, which was a really good album. Royce, he's an alien when it comes to just the bars. And production-wise, it sounds quite good as well, man. I think he's done quite a lot of the beats on there as well himself. And then last, I've got Knowledge, 1988, which is an instrumental album. And yeah, I just enjoyed that one. I've been back to it quite a bit. And I love Knowledge as a producer.
So my top 5, and this is in order. So number 5, I got Westside Gunn, Pray for Paris. I just think cohesively, that's like one of his strongest albums to date. And
that's crazy to me, man.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. And that's one of my least favorite Westside Gunn albums.
I think he's taken a couple more sonic risks, even though it still sounds kind of dusty and underground and that. But he's got a primo beat in there. He's got, he's kind of branched out as far as features go. So I think it's a more well-rounded, well-thought-out project, I think. And it's packaged really well as well. So that's why I really fucks with it. At number 4, I've got Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats, Unlocked. It's a short one. It's only like 17, 18 minutes long. But Denzel is just showing that, he's always been a beast with it. And Kenny Beats has got some of the weirdest, noisy beats on this project, and it just fits so perfectly. At number 3, I've got Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, Alfredo. Yeah, man, just to echo what Pete was saying, that Gibbs is rapping his ass off. He's on another level this year, and I'm glad that him and the Alchemist found their way to each other, because it's a match made in heaven. Alchemist is one of the best producers alive. At number 2, I've got J Hus, Big Conspiracy. Even though people say that it didn't necessarily reach the heights of Common Sense, it is a very strong second album. It doesn't have as many actual proper dance or party anthems, but he's in a different place in his life, and it's reflected in the project, and it's just dope.
And he's rapping better on this album.
And he's rapping a lot better. Lyrically, his pen is improving, so very, very dope. And at number 1, Run the Jewels, RTJ4. Perfect album for the time that we're living in. It's almost as if they predicted what was going to happen, because they spit so close to what's going on, and they speak for a lot of what's going on as well. Killer Mike is killing it. LP is LPing as well. Even 2 Chainz came and delivered. It was dope. That's it from us, guys. So thank you for listening, and big shout out again to Crate 08 for having us.
Yeah, big up, man.
Yeah, man. Keep doing your thing, and we'll hopefully see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.
So yes, top 10 bangers of 2020 so far, lads. I'm looking forward to hearing these, just to get them on the playlist. Jambo, what have you got, mate? What songs are you bringing?
The first song I'm bringing is an anthem, not for me, but for a demographic that you're a part of, Cam, and I thought you'd really champion it. It's JPEG Mafia, Bold.
Oh, mate.
A lot of our demographic, a lot of the podcast demographic of aging hip-hop fans probably won't love the song, but it's a song that basically is saying, if you're bold, it's a balance from God. You're that good, you need to be bold, otherwise you're too good. And I thought a lot of people would really like that. And JPEG Mafia is amazing. The beat's incredible. It's one of my favourite tracks of the year.
Wicked. Okay, always here for the JPEG love, mate. I love the fact you read that into it. That's great. One of my tracks I want to bring, again, these are mainly over rinsed, how much I've rinsed them. Contract on Lulu by Conway. Man, that beat there's a line in there that I now, like my wife, even when we were cooking, she was like, I really like this track. And that line I love. And there's a line where he talks about one of his friends trying to help him out, but actually doing more, like getting him into more shit than he should have done. And he just says something like, mate, I love you, but I just don't need that energy. And I think I've said that to you guys before, but that resonates with me now where, you're like, mate, I love you, mate, but right now, I just don't need that energy, especially in 2020. Certain types of people, you just got to be like, dog, let's... And yes, Ray, I'm talking about you. But no, I mean, but again, that track is kind of morphed into, I would be surprised to see my Spotify things at the end of the year, because that might be my most rewound track, just because the way it comes in with the Alchemist kind of, the building momentum of this orchestra. And then he's got this thing on it, which I now have actually done. I was so proud of myself. But if anyone who likes that track, you know that Conway just goes, I'm about to drop off the bag, the big bag. And he does that, right? This little really awful singing, but really catchy. And I remember just coming home from Aldi and I had all the bags. And my missus didn't even ask me what I was doing. And I went, I'm just going to go to the car so I can, and then pressed, about to drop off the bag, the big bag. And yeah, that went down like a lead balloon, just like it has now. Just like it has now. So I really enjoyed it anyway. But yeah, Conway Contract on Lulu. Love that track. Raymond, man, banger. Let's bring a banger to the table.
Banger to the table is Cool by J Love and Large Professor. Have you heard it?
J Love's new stuff, right? Yeah, I've not heard it.
Yeah, it's off Rap Professionals, and it's just a boom bap, smooth, funky beat, and it's got J Love with like just hard battle rhymes over the top, and it's that combination of like something that's just really smooth and kind of chilled out, but with hard rhymes over the top, which is just that perfect combo.
It's like a chip butty with jalapenos, isn't it? Is it? No one knows.
These are all getting added to the playlist, aren't they?
Yeah, these are all.
Yeah, please do, because I want to hear some of these that I haven't heard
for sure,
before.
Absolutely. These will be on the Crate 808 Bangers playlist. The link will be in the show notes for sure. Another track from you, please, Jambo. What you got?
A track that will be interesting to put on this playlist is Don Toliver, After Party.
Oh, what? Don Toliver?
I for some reason have such a soft spot. Basically, trap is dead now. We're on the last legs. It's a sound that I'm finding quite boring and uninteresting, the auto-tuned vocals and stuff. But this track is a banger. If this came on a party or something like that, you would love it. It is very catchy. And yeah, I liked it.
I'll give it another shot. I did spin it a few times, and
the album's terrible, but this one track, After Party, does it for me.
Is it on the album? Is it on his new album?
Yeah, After Party's on the album. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll probably got lost in the quagmire. But Travis Scott or nothing, mate, for me at the moment when it comes to stuff like that.
Travis Scott. I've still got time for Travis, but that sound now sounds like it's just a bit shit now. It's gone. It's starting to die. People aren't. They've run the wheels off of it. The wheels are all coming off the bandwagon now. I was on the bandwagon, but I'm starting to fall off.
Yeah, I can see that. There's an emergence of other sounds.
Yeah.
Another track I had that I, again, just can't stop playing, and we've not talked about him on the pod at the moment for albums or work of the year, because he hasn't actually dropped an album so far, but he did drop an EP, and it's Mick Jenkins from the Circus EP, Different Scales. Yeah. Just the sentiment behind it, just the messaging. I love Mick Jenkins' way of rhyming. Or does it even really rhyme? I don't know. He doesn't really, but it's just his flow. I'm a big Mick Jenkins stan, and I really enjoyed that EP, and I really, really enjoyed Different Scales. What have you got, Raymond?
So yeah, my next one is Mahogany by Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
That was my next one.
It's such a sick tune. It's off this year's album Funeral. It's got this line. What's that line? Judge gave me time, I did that time, like nap time. It's so ridiculous. It's the perfect combination of it's like a quite serious beat, but with like joking rhymes, and it's a concept tune as well. It is. So Wayne brings the concepts as well. Like it's a ridiculous tune,
mate. It's that 90s sentiment. I think Lil Wayne knows you can get recognition for skill still. And I think that's exactly, and I love Mahogany. The rap time, all the way he raps on that whole thing is just braggadocious. I love it.
I'm looking forward to hearing that, because when Lil Wayne can be a bit crap, but like when he's good, he's really enjoyable.
Yeah. So mate, it's not just Mahogany. I'll be honest, on the Funeral album, there's about 3 or 4 tracks where I've been like, fuck man, he killed that.
Have you heard him on the Jack Harlow song?
No.
Oh, he's got a verse on that that sounded quite good. I've only heard it once, but I was like, that's a rewind.
But that did actually remind me, because I was listening to that album, Funeral, a few times this year. There's some ludicrous lyrics on there, like ludicrous. Well, what the fuck is he talking about? So I just want to ask people out there, let us know some of your more ludicrous lyrics, because I want to do a section where it's just lyrics we may have missed, where we just laugh at them. So people, email, man, or get in touch with us. However, ludicrous lyrics, I want some more so I can do a section on the podcast about them. What do you got next up, Jambo?
You're going to think I'm joking here, but 6ix9ine, Goober. How could it's one of the biggest songs of the year.
Are you trolling us here, mate?
He seems like an awful person. For some reason, this track really gets me. It's ridiculous, and also he's someone I have. A little part of me is like, I quite like, he's someone who upsets rap traditionalists. He's making snitching cool. And like, he's literally trolling everyone by in his lyrics saying, who did that? Who did what? That's my shit. Don't bite it. He's saying, don't bite my snitching style. And he's really upsetting everyone. And as someone who likes to upset a rap traditionalist each month on the podcast, I can relate to that. So yeah.
And let me say that I absolutely refuse to even listen to it. Thank you very much. Next.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. I'm not a fan of that. This reminds me of the time when I was trying to say Gummo was good. He did a track called Gummo not far ago. I think it may even be like, maybe 2018, maybe. I can't remember. But either way, Gummo was a track where I was like, that track's not too bad, actually, from 6ix9ine.
Mate, it's Onyx. He's basically made a pop version of Onyx. If we were like 16 or 17, we'd have been loving this shit. So
yeah, he's got that tune Stupid, actually, which is like, that's... Yeah,
oh, hello. Here he is.
Here we go. He doesn't like Alchemist beats, but he loves 6ix9ine.
He took it off Spotify for a bit, and I was like really because obviously, as we've established, Ray only listens to music on Spotify, and there was a little part of me was disappointed.
Ray loves a gatekeeper. My next track was Mike, another great album from Mike. He brought out some good stuff here. Weight of the Word from Weight of the World. Trying to trip me up there, Mike. I see what you're doing. Weight of the Word. We've not talked enough about beat switches on this episode, but you know it's my I just love a beat switch, and that track, fucking hell, it goes into 3 different tracks. And it's just some of the way it ends, it's so happy, it's upbeat, it's like the sample is just sick. Yeah, I love.
Are you going to put that on the playlist?
It's already on the playlist, my love.
Okay, are you going to put Goober on the playlist?
No. No.
Are you going to put Don Toliver After Party on the playlist?
Again, I'll have to listen back to Don Toliver. Yeah. Your last 2 have been Don Toliver and 6ix9ine. Just think about that. Think about that for a second. Next one up, then. I
have an open mind, Cam. Next one up, Kanye, Wash Us in the Blood.
Okay, you're a fan.
Mate, have you seen the video? Like,
the video's odd.
It's really odd. Like the fact that they've had the COVID victims and their breathing is in like sync with the beat is weird, very trippy. And there's like the statements in it are kind of interesting. I kind of like the way they had GTA 5 and the commercialization of like black gang culture. The fact that it's a statement on that, I found it really interesting. And like, I feel like I was a bit scared by Jesus is King, that like, oh God, if this is going to be the quality of shit we have from Kanye, this is going to be bad. But this is starting to bring it back. I'm interested in this. This is like kind of exciting.
Yeah. Reminded me of New Slaves. Reminded me of that whole New Slaves.
Yeah, it did. It was very Yeezus era, but I love that era. So
yeah, same here. I really love that album. Raymond, what's your next one, mate?
Next one, I think you'll be quite interested in this one. It's basically, I'm not sure if you would have heard it. It's from the album they released this year. It's called Tour Lords. It's basically everything. It gets in on a technicality because it's stuff they released from their tours previously that was only available, on tapes and CDs, and now they've compiled it all together and released it for 2020. So it's a tune called Rap Is Not Pop. It's a Thrown Off Stage Mitch, and it's from Apathy of the Demigods. Thank you very much. But yeah, that release has got like 50 tracks on it, and it's ridiculous. There's loads of them. There's loads of like bangers on it. But this tune in particular is going to be the one that Jambo's going to hate the most. So it's recorded over True by Spandau Ballet. And it's Spandau Ballet. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
Spandau Ballet.
It's recorded over that, and it is fucking ridiculous. Apathy's got a habit of doing some really obvious samples. He's got is it the the tune from Rocky, you know, he's running up the steps. That tune, they've got a tune over there. There's loads of like really obvious samples which are bangers. They're ridiculous tunes. But this one is, yes, Rap Is Not Pop, and it's over True by Spandau Ballet, and you got to put it on the bangers playlist. It is.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to hearing it. Forward to hearing it.
Me too. Another one from me then, Vince Ash, up and coming MC, young lad, but man, really excited to see where he goes. But there's one track he's got, What It G Like. What It G Like starts off like an old school NWA banger. Just a very, okay, this is where you're taking me. And then left-hand turn, like in about a minute and a half into some other shit. And I was like, what the fuck? Then it goes back to that. And then later, it kind of amalgamates a lot of different sounds. And yeah, I think What It G Like is just one of them tracks that I was just really intrigued by, and then just haven't stopped playing. So I'm trying to just pick it apart a bit. Really, really enjoyed Vince Ash generally. So I like What It G Like. That is a banger from his Veto album. James, next one up, mate. What you got?
I'm going with Mac Miller, Good News.
Oh, man.
Very sad. Really great. That album would have been on my list, but I was told we weren't allowed to bring stuff that only had one rap verse on it. I love Mac Miller. I love the fact that he like changed up his whole style and like, you know, tried to develop as an artist. And it's a really sad song, and it's got like that early noughties Kanye vibe to the track because it's a John Bryan. He helped put together the album, so and that's who Kanye got in to do all the strings and orchestral parts on his early album. So there's a link there with that, and just the line, I heard they don't talk about me too much no more. And that's the problem with a closed door. Really sad lyric considering what happened.
Shit, man. That is sad. Oh, God, you've gut punched me right there, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, really sad.
Yeah. No, it's a good, is it called Circles? Can't remember now.
Yeah, Circles, yeah.
Yeah, it's decent, man. It's a mood. Or as kids say, a vibe. So I'll never do that again. I did have Mahogany by Lil Wayne as well. So that was one of my next ones. But I cannot let this pass without talking about Mayhem Lauren and Harry Fraud's new album. Man, Glass 2.0, there are ludicrous moments on that album, but the beats, lads, the beats. I mean, there's a lot of tracks on there I'm feeling, but I'm bringing Ducati Dreams. Ducati Dreams has another sick beat switch from Harry Fraud, and the intro is something like Mayhem. I know he came on this pod and he was very, very fun, and you can see he's probably just like that all the time because he was like, you know, I got that thing in the car, you know, if these guys try it, I'm just going to get a swordfish out the back, hold it by its tail, and just smack these motherfuckers around the face with it. What? Where's that come from?
It's good bit of Piscine violence. I like it.
But that's the theme through the whole thing. So I had Steam Monkfish as well on that which is a ridiculous track as well. Yeah.
Steam Monkfish, man. What
it's just epic. It's an epic movie soundtrack kind of track. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
And Mayhem brings it as well.
Mayhem's bringing it this year. That album is slept on. More people need to talk about it. Glass 2.0. Ray, what else do you have, mate?
My next track is it's from the best album cover of the year, the Curb Commentator Channel 1. To be honest, it's not got many good tracks on it, but one of them is Up or Down so it's E40 with Wiz Khalifa, and just
nice.
It's just a very simple. I think it's like a single note bass line. It's very simple, but it's just got this hook to it that just gets in your head and stays there. Going up or down, and going up or down, and going up or down. And going up or down. It sounds better than that. It sounds better than that. It's actually what it sounds like. Yeah, whatever. Listen to it. It's good.
Okay. If anyone out there, by the way, is thinking, where is RTJ in that on this list? This is a list of bangers, by the way, that are excluding the choices for albums that we've brought. So you won't hear any of them on here.
No, we're not including because they don't have any bangers. So get annoyed and
that's essentially it.
Stop pandering to them. If they've listened to the whole podcast and they're like, where are the RTJs? Shut the fuck up. We've already spoken about them. It's our podcast. We'll do what the fuck we want.
Love it. Jambo, what's your next one, mate?
Shut your mouths and listen. That's what I'm saying.
That's a great track. It's a great track.
Sky Zoo and Dumbo Stations, Good Enough Reasons. Like, I was like really hopeful of this EP. I thought this was going to be brilliant. It's good, but this one track's really great. And weirdly, it's one of those tracks that could have been in the genre of the no drums genre we've been talking about, and the fact that drums come on, like, oh, he's put drums on, weird. Like, it actually threw me that he'd actually put drums on it. But yeah, I love the part in his verse where he talks about he can always find the pocket in the beat, because he really can. Sky Zoo's great for that. So
yeah. Oh, I like that, mate. Sky Zoo love. That Father's EP is great, by the way. I've just, you know what it is for me? I've not heard it enough for me to bring that to the table today, because it's just dense, and I'm not sure I'm ready.
Are you talking about Milestones?
No, I'm talking about Sky Zoo and Dumbo Sessions. It's called The Bluest Note.
Oh, okay.
The Bluest Note. It's a jazz album he did at the beginning of the year, I think. It's
Yeah.
a jazz project, which is great. I think there's one there called The Caveat, which I really liked on that. I thought it was great.
So while we're talking about Sky Zoo, my next one, I mean, it flows on pretty well. It was from Sky Zoo's other release, Milestones, which is why I said that. And it's called A Song for Fathers. So I don't know if there's some crossover there, but
yeah, that project, A Song for Fathers, is one that, it's going to take me a minute to get into, because, I'm not sure I'm ready to get in that right now in the mindset I'm in, but I love Sky Zoo, and anything like that it's going to be dope. I already know. The artwork is sick, by the way. Love that. My next one, Ray's already alluded to, is honourable mention, R.A. the Rugged Man's All My Heroes Are Dead introduction.
Boom.
Fucking
Oh yeah, that was good. That was really good.
That intro was sick. And yes, let's rattle these last few off then, lads. What have we got for the last few? Jambo, what you got?
Akai Solo, 360 Dragonfly, you heard that?
No, I know Akai Solo, but I don't think I've heard 360
The beat reminds me of something like a manga kind of soundtrack mixed with like early Def Jux, like Cannibal Ox and stuff. It's interesting. I listened to the album. The albums, again, didn't get out of the barrel, but it's a great track. So have a listen to
Wicked. That will go on the list. Raymond?
So we alluded to it earlier on, Rap Ferreira, it's that Purple Moonlight Pages. There's a track called Leaving Hell. So you listen to him and you can tell that he's a smart dude. And I don't know why he made the rest of the album so fucking weird, but this tune has like it has a regularity to it, and it's got some, and again, this follows on from what I've been saying throughout this entire fucking podcast. It's got drums. It's got ridiculous drums on it. And in the second half, again, alluding to what Cam said about, I love it when it changes. The second half of it, the drummer is just let loose to go fucking mental. And it's really well done. Leaving Hell.
He does that. He puts so much different stuff into his music. RO talk, shit like that. No starving artist. All that is all very peculiar, odd kind of left field rap, and that's what I love about it. So I'm glad you brought that, Ray. I'm glad you brought that one. I know we've not talked about his album too much. Royce da 5'9" brought a project out this year. I thought the album was too long. I really like the album though. I think West Side Gun on there has got one of the best features of the year as well. Sorry, Ray, but it's true. Fucking that feature's sick. But my track I actually brought is Thou Shall. Thou Shall. Yeah, it's just Royce doing Royce, man, and I'm glad we've got him in rap. I'm glad we've got someone who grows as an artist as well. He's going to do beats. He's going to try to do actual songs and not just bars. I'm really looking forward to if him and M do something again together. If that comes through, because we all love Bad Meets Evil. Yes, they're great, but imagine where Royce is like now. We're going to dig deep and we're going to make it soulful. We're going to make it like I don't know, pertinent to people's lives a bit more than just like battle rap. And I don't know, I have hope that might happen. He does it on Allegory. He does do that on Allegory. And maybe it's just one of them where I've sifted my favorite tracks and then you forget it's a 20-odd track album.
And you say that as well, but also M's grown as well. And he does bring, he is bringing his politics into it, and you can agree or disagree with what he says. But he's that
absolutely.
too.
That's what I mean. They're both growing, aren't they? Which is good. Jay. Jay's nice.
Hey Jay, you can call me Jay. That's fine.
Yeah, Jambo Schmectronica. What are you saying?
My next one is by a lady called Liv, spelled Liv.E. I don't know why, but Liv is how it's pronounced, and it's called Lessons from My Mistakes. And then, but I Lost Your Number. It's got a beat switch in the middle, so it's kind of like 2 tracks in one. The first part's like spoken word. It's quite, I don't know, her delivery, it seems really personal and really interesting and fun. And then the second part is almost like just her singing over a slightly different jazz loop. It's just a really interesting, nice texture. It's a good vibe. I liked it.
Nice, man. Nice. Raymond, bring it on home.
Fucking hell, yeah. It seems like we're doing honorable mention, just female MCs towards the end to be like, oh, look at us, we mention everyone, but that's not on purpose.
I'm woke.
It's not on purpose. That's not set up. But I was going to say song 33 by No Name.
Yes. Okay, we've not even dug into the. Yeah,
it's good. I mean, the beat is so nice, and so No Names reminds me of like a rhyming version of. You remember Ursula Rucker, and she used to do like the spoken word bits on the early Roots albums.
Oh, is that her name?
Okay. Yeah. So
right.
No Names sounds like a rhyming, like a decent rhyming version of that kind of thing. But anyways, I enjoyed the track. I don't understand the background between. She just names her tracks: song 31, song 32, song 33. Like, all right.
Song 33, that's a Madlib beat as well, my friend. So, yeah, it's a Madlib beat. I think he gave her 90 seconds to just destroy J. Cole. And it was like, oh, okay. Essentially, that's what happened. He just destroyed J. Cole in 90 seconds. Yeah, that whole thing has happened this year as well, as we know. We've not even talked about the actual things that happen in hip-hop. That's another episode, I'm sure. But we need to talk about academics.
A beef episode would be great.
Well, let's get academics at the top of that because we need to talk about academics, guys. But yeah, my next one I had... I mean, again, it's not been mentioned too much. Jay Electronica's written testimony that, flux capacitor still like works for me, but I can't stop rinsing Fruits of the Spirit.
My favourite of that was Ghost of Soldier Slim. That was a really good tune.
Yeah, Ghost of Soldier Slim is a banger for sure, absolutely. But there's something about when it comes on a shuffle, and I just keep, if not rewind it, Fruits of the Spirit is short enough, and the Thanos line where he goes off, with the Thanos line. Yeah, me and Rob Percy did review that, so do go check that out in the Crate 808 archives. Jambo, I think this is your last one up. This is your 10, mate.
I've got two more.
Two more. Bring them both right now, mate.
One is by, when you hear a track and you go like, okay, if this guy can keep bringing this, I reckon he'll be a bit of a crossover star. Berwin, and the track's called Glory. It's like a dreamy, introspective piano like that he plays. It's just sort of his view on like where he's trying to go in life. I don't know, he's got a really nice voice, and just it's again a bit spoken wordy, but like I think it's probably the most beautiful track out of any of the ones I've bought. And like I feel like he's apparently really good friends with the guy, or I think he's on XL Records.
Oh, okay.
And like I feel like he's one to watch. I think he's going to be quite famous if he can keep that energy. And then the other one I bought was.
Well, before you go, I think Berwin plays for Spurs, mate. I think that you got that wrong, mate. I think there's a lad who called.
I don't watch football anymore, so I don't know who that is.
Fair enough. Okay.
Does he know Graham Lasso?
Brilliant. Go on then.
My other one was, I only heard it yesterday for the first time. The Adventures of Moonman and Slim Shady.
Oh, hello. Kid
Cudi and Eminem. I was like, I like Kid Cudi, I like Eminem. They don't seem like they go well together. The beat came on and I was like, okay, this is working. I'm liking this. I like the Kid Cudi part. Eminem comes in and I was really expecting him to be shit and not get the point of it. And he didn't quite fit with the track, but I really enjoyed his verse. There were loads of bits in that I loved. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, there's another part where he's talking about I'm like Medusa. I stay ahead of snakes. That's a great line.
That's a good line.
Yeah, he's got stuff in that, and like I feel like if they both sort of talk about like their mental health sort of issues and make an album where it's focused around their similarities, and M can stay within the pocket of what Kid Cudi does production wise, that would be really fun. I'm kind of looking forward to that. So, and I was hoping that it might bring me and Ray closer if I like Eminem for once.
A little bit. There's a line in there somewhere, something about like doing normal shit like vacuuming and something, and then you just picture like Eminem just.
Yes,
just
you can't. Yeah, I remember that.
17-bedroom house, like.
Let me just bring that. Let me bring the lyric. Oh, here we go. You wish you could score like this. Not even at half court, I'd miss. I'm mouthwash, because if I was on the floor, I'd swish. Fluoride. Swish.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that line now. Yeah. Because that got me the first time I heard it.
It's silly, but it made me like laugh. And I've just realised if Eminem's on a decent beat and not doing all the stupid shit he usually does, I really enjoy him.
Yeah, mate, I'd still do as well. He still gets me going. Okay, I'm enjoying that. I didn't think that would come up. I did not think that would come up. Raymond, what have you got then for your last? You got your last one?
Yeah,
right?
I got the last one. I'm going to drop a bit of the verse and see if you can guess it. Inherently rocking the disco, currently bars is cryptocurrency, hypnotherapy, shitting on everything, 5'9", 6'4" lyrically, crystal clarity, wonder how I spit so... it's obviously...
Yeah, I've heard this.
Yeah, you have.
It's
Black Thought versus everybody.
Black Thought,
yeah. That latest track he just brought out. I touched on it earlier on, he flows the same all the fucking time. But I love it every fucking time. So it's fine.
Mate.
It's fine. He fucking brings it. He's brought it again.
Yeah. I love that track. I'm looking forward to this new project, definitely. Black Thought, good shout, my friend. My last one, I know we're going to do some honorable mentions before we do leave because there's a few people we left out. But my last one I had, man, the album took me a minute to really get into, but once I got into it, Quelle Chris Keys, Innocent Country 2, that might be a grower of an album to the point where you're like, holy shit, is this album of the year? I don't know. But it's one of them where I just completely passed tunes by. And then I heard the first one that really got me was Bottle Black Power by The Business. That beat is just sick. It's just off the wall. It's Quelle Chris doing what he does best, and Chris Keys kills it. And yeah, and on there's tracks that you could say, is this hip hop? It's kind of soul-y, funky, which reminds me a bit like Salt, if you've heard that album, which is fucking amazing. That's a funk soul album that came out. They have a little bit elements of that in this album, and that track really stuck out. But there's other tracks that are a little bit not so hip hop, but more soul and funk. So really enjoyed that. Just an honorable mention from me because I know Ray dropped a few, but I do have to say Spanish Ran's album with Blue, MF Blue, is a fucking great little project. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about it more, but again, if people go out there, check it out. Hope you enjoy it because, yeah, man, that's some fucking proper hip hop for sure.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
How many... Oh, I should ask you at this end instead of ruining your flow. I just got really excited. How many people follow your Crate 808 playlist?
The playlist, the Bangers playlist, is about 120 odd or something.
Yeah,
so
that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's not massive, but again, you people out there, there's 100 million playlists out there, so if 100 odd people enjoy it, let's go, man.
I love that. Good work. Sorry I was mean to you earlier, listeners. You're all right.
You're okay. But yeah, man, I really enjoyed this chat. I thought it was a good temperature check on where we are right now in 2020, in hip hop especially anyway. And yeah, boys, I really appreciate you bringing that stuff. Good work, man.
No worries.
No worries. I'm just going to sneak in another honourable mention, Vinnie Paz album. Anyway, let's do it. Boom.
Of course. But yes, lads, I will catch you on the next one. If I'm sure we'll be doing more of these as we go. And yeah, man, out there, check us out, crate808.com. Please email us, as I've been saying for the whole thing, at crate808@gmail.com. Twitter, Insta, Facebook, YouTube. Drop us some comments, follow us, tell your mum, tell your dad.
Suck your mum.
Maybe not do that, but if it helps. So, and yeah, lads, I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Please take it easy. Jambo, Ray, peace out, lads.
Peace. See you later.
Brat.